What is up? What is up? How about a little retro recording? I'm headed out tomorrow to Waxahachie, Texas, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to find my first recording to when I went back in 2017. So this is episode 79. This is a retro recording. I'm going to start dropping these. So when you think about the Get Down, when you think about C10's in the Park, other shows that we've been able to go to, attend, and have a great time, I thought, you know what, it'd be kind of cool. So some of these guys are still in the scene. One in particular ended up not being a good guy for the scene. I checked them all, I listened to them, and it's very interesting to go back. So if you are en route, if you're driving, if you're attending C10's in the Park 2024, their 9th year, easily one of my favorite shows. Safe travels. Here's a little retro bonus. If you haven't, check out Jen Fedor from Apex Leather. That's $298. Before that, we had Josh Rowan. And then before that, Chad Day, local independent Napa guy. And then before that was Norris Marshall. I'm just sitting here squinting, thinking about it. From Blueprint Engines. So you've got a lot of content, and I'm just adding more to it. You've got a lot of drive time. It's fun to hear some of these guys 7-8 years prior, and where are they now? You know, I do think I'll see a few of these guys over the weekend. I hope that I do. But either way, episode 79, going back about 7 years ago to the first time I went to C10's in the Park. Enjoy the retro release. Have a great week. Late.
C10 Talk, episode 79. C10's in the Park, Waxahachie, Texas. Over 750 Chevy GMC trucks. Great place, great people, killer show.
Where I'm from, man, we're just from the country, and we just love these old trucks. And I grew up with these trucks. I grew up with pretty much cars and trucks and working on them. And my dad gave me a 66 C10 back in high school. And, man, the domino effect is just keep collecting them. I'm broke, but I got trucks, so.
Damn, son. When you're looking for classic Chevy or GMC truck parts, BrothersTrucks.com is your number one source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC restoration parts. Head over to BrothersTrucks.com and order your free catalog today. Whether you're looking to replace your original steering, update those old brakes, or improve your suspension and handling, Classic Performance Products has got your classic truck covered. You can save 10% by using code C10TALK at checkout. 10%. ClassicPerform.com. If you're like me and you want the best possible products for your build, Mar-K Quality Parts has you covered. From side moldings to bedwood and so much more. Mar-K.com, and follow them on Instagram too. If you're looking for aftermarket parts for your C10 truck, Pro Performance is your go-to source. They carry the top brands for wheels, brakes, suspension, and accessories. Check them out on the web at azproperformance.com. That's azproperformance.com.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 truck podcast. Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
All right. What up, C10 Nation? Back from C10's in the Park. What a rad time. Great show. Kick-ass people. And we really enjoyed ourselves. 3 years. So on Saturday, essentially was 3 years to the day that I kicked off the intro show for C10 Talk back on September 23rd, 2014. And Saturday was our 3-year mark. So I kind of look at it like, we've got that time and then between that and Dino being the first interview. But regardless, we are at 479,000 listens. 479,171 right now as of this recording. So just shy of 480, blown away, and super stoked about what's yet to come. I just want to thank you guys for, listening, tuning in, and just kicking ass, because it's really neat to think that, we've made an impact, and we've heard from you, the C10 Nation, that you love the pod, and it's been a lot of fun for me. There's been a lot of good times, a lot of good adventures, and a lot of great people. So 3-year mark, no end in sight, continuing to have so much fun, the builds, the people, the stories behind the scenes. So I've got a lot of great interviews planned, and I hope I can keep up. I hope I can keep up to your expectations, and just keep on keeping on with this pod that we love to tune into, and I love to do for you guys. So bringing that to you. Some cool, exciting stuff for me as well. SEMA 2017 is around the corner. So I am trying to get a hold of all the builders, and we're going to put some shows together, kind of the pre-show like we did last year. I don't know. I'm up to almost 20, so I don't know if I'm going to put them in each individual, like 10 in a show and 10 in another show. I'm kind of thinking about just drop them as I get them, because it's a lot more work for me to put them all together, and I'll just drop them and you guys get them. Now, what I want to do is follow them up with a little video at SEMA, so we'll kind of see how that works out. Another really cool thing for me is this year, Royal Purple and I are going to team up. I'm going to do interviews for Royal Purple at SEMA. So whatever they have a connection with, a builder, a product, whatever it is, I'm going to go around and we're going to do some killer interviews for Royal Purple. So that's a big thing for me. That's very exciting. So tune in, and that'll be on their YouTube channel, their social media, Facebook, Instagram. So you'll see my ugly mug on some Royal Purple stuff, and we'll be doing some rad ass interviews for Royal Purple. So it should be really cool. That's kind of fun stuff. Obviously, I really enjoy doing that, and I was honored when they reached out and said, hey, would you like to do some interviews? Think kind of like what Dell does for AccuAir. I think that's kind of what they want to do, and kind of capture that whole SEMA vibe and then put it on social media, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. And then I'm going to try to do the same when I'm not doing that for you, the C10 Nation, through some of the interviews with the builders that we're going to have the pre-interview with, and then do some posts. So we'll just see how much time there is allotted in that crazy time, 4 or 5 days. So tune in for that. I'll keep you posted as we get closer and closer. We've got so many things going on. We've got Dino's Get Down right after SEMA, and then really I need to kind of get my crap together and start letting everybody know about this Eastbound and Down to the Throwdown, because we are going to do it again. Terry said he wants to come out. John Orwell said he's going to drive the prom queen. So we definitely have some more people behind it. It's tough, but if you are anywhere in this neck of the woods, or you want to fly in, depending on seats, so, like the Run to Brothers, there's quite a bit of trucks. You're there, you're back. If we can make it work and we can find you a spot, then we'd love to have you. If you want to drive, even better. So what we want to do is leave out on Wednesday morning before LST. So think February, I'm not looking at the calendar right now, but like 25th. So February, well, the show is 25th, so I'm going to say 22nd, 23rd. And we're going to leave on Wednesday morning, and then we're going to drive to, let's just say, I think we stayed in Odessa last year. And then we're going to work our way up to Dallas. We're going to hang out with some boys in Dallas. And then on Friday morning, we're going to go over to Casey's. And then we're going to do Casey's Cruise to Conroe Friday morning. And then we're going to hang out at LST Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, and then work our way back. So Eastbound and Down to the Throwdown 2.0 2018 LST. Think about it, and I need to get some stuff put together for that. I wanted to give you guys a heads up. We're getting close. I'm really shooting for that 200 before the end of the year for the reviews on the podcast through iTunes. We're at 172 as of right now. Where did my spot go? I was going to read a few. Let me see if I can find it. Sometimes I have no clue like where the hell I left off. So I need to be better about just kind of going through and remembering. I think I kind of saw some of these. So let's go right here. Where was I at? Okay, let's go right here. 5 stars. Kaler made hot rods, best way to become informed and stay up to date on the latest and coolest happenings in the C10 community. Listen and learn. This podcast is awesome. Thank you, my brother. Keeps me motivated. 5 stars by Curry Custom Fab. Love the show. Keeps me motivated to make forward progress on my truck. Awesome. I love that motivation part. I love that you guys get up, you're in your shop, you're doing it, you're watching the build, you're seeing the build, you're looking at social media, and you're listening to C10 Talk. So thank you guys so much for that. Truck Guys, 5 stars. Billy Bob's Chop Shop. Very inspirational to get out in the garage and work on something. Very informative on how-tos and what products are out there, plus some great insight to some of the builders we all see and follow. 5 stars, Billy Bob Chop Shop. Thank you so much. Another 5 stars, great podcast. Big G 1974, hooked on C10 Talk. Got me motivated to start on my truck. Thanks, Ronnie. You got it, dude. Thank you. Guests are the best, and your chemistry makes the listeners feel like they're hanging out with you. Maybe throw a session of what's going on with Yellowstone to keep us updated. Great show. That's a good point. Yellowstone right now, we just came out with the shirts, so that's very cool. I had it up at the upholstery shop because the headliner was getting a little saggy, and it was done. Ron at Empire does a great job. He's out of Phoenix. He's done some really kick-ass stuff. I got him from Joe Yezzi out of Square Body Syndicate. I saw what he did on SSO1, and so I was really pumped, and I really wanted Yellowstone's interior to pop, which I think we've accomplished that, but we had a few little issues with that headliner, and those headliners are huge, so they're a big pain, and rather than me take it all apart, I ran it up to Ron's. I still am really trying to find the time to put the 4L80 in that truck, and then the Holley Terminator, to get that ready for, again, eastbound and down to the throwdown. I can't wait to kind of break that mileage down. That'd be the true test to see where that thing stands. So that's where it's at right now. Big G 1974. Thank you guys for taking the time to rate and review us, share us with anybody, everybody, especially people that are in the truck world, and that means a lot to us. So we appreciate that. We're shooting for 200 by the end of the year, 172. Kind of a call to action for you guys. So please take the time to do that. Again, I mentioned some of the new swag. So we created, developed, came up with, whatever you want to call it, 4 new shirts for C10's in the Park. We had them out there. The booth was hopping. The booth was popping. My hat is off. My pants are off, obviously, for my wife. And so she kicked ass, man. So the booth was set up really good. She made it look like a woman would, and definitely not like I do. So my hat again and my pants are off to her. So the booth was happening. We had tons of cool swag, cool gear. We had these Texas banners that we did. Those things sold out quick. And the new shirt. So Yellowstone shirt is available as of right now. Yellowstone. The new One Nation, which is a 3/4, kind of that throwback 70s, 80s baseball tee. We did this new, I kind of was trying to think of a new C10 Talk one. Obviously, we have the radio shirts, so we did a tape, and it went from Damn Songs to Damn Son being crossed out. So back when you used to get your 80s mixtape all put together, and you were so stoked to listen to it, you didn't have to skip songs or fast forward or anything like that. Well, I thought, hell, let's kind of put a tape together, and from there we threw in some C10 vibe and some cool colors, kind of like those colors that I really dig between Yellowstone, especially the new 76 GMC, the orange, the yellow, the brown. I love those colors. That's me from the time I could even tell colors. I love that stuff. So we put that shirt together, and then we faded it, and it's really soft. All our stuff is like Next Level or Bella something. They're soft stuff. One thing that's very complimentary by the C10 Nation is how many responses we get, either email, some form of social media, about just how our shirts wear, and that's, we want you guys to be comfortable, and believe me, the new C10 Talk Damn Song shirt is going to be very comfortable. Yellowstone, even though there's like 10 colors on Yellowstone, it's still really soft because of the water base. So you've got the Yellowstone, you've got the Damn Songs, which is the tape deck, kind of that concert vibe. We faded it. The One Nation 3/4, I think we sold out of primarily the One Nation short. I'll do another run of those because it's not that cold yet, and those are really popular. And then we just did Rad Red, kind of a plain red. Just sometimes you want to just be chilling, and you got the red, and one color just says C10 Nation. Nothing too fancy. But, nice shirt. And again, very, very comfortable. So we pretty much made some stickers based on that as well. We made a Yellowstone sticker, which is super rad. We made a kind of a tape deck Damn Song C10 Talk sticker. Tons of the One Nation stickers, and check them all out. Tons of rad stuff. We work hard on that stuff for you guys, and we appreciate the support. And again, I appreciate the feedback that I get from you guys, because it's just so awesome that you guys love what we're doing out here, and you're buying the swag. So thanks for the support. AZ Pro Performance. AZ Pro Performance reached out to me at the beginning of September and said, hey, let's give away a tank. So if you are at all interested in winning a free C10 fuel tank by Boyd Welding, then reach out to AZ Pro Performance. All you have to do is buy something, pretty much anything, and then let them know, hey, this is, put me in for the C10 Talk raffle for the fuel tank, for the fuel cell. I heard it on C10 Talk. I saw it on C10 Talk's social media. And you get your name entered, and at the end of September, some lucky guy is going to win a free C10 fuel cell from Boyd Welding. No brainer. So here's the time to do it. Buy something. AZ Pro Performance. You know you need something. They have so much cool stuff. And then let them know C10 Talk, Ronnie sent you, and then you get your name entered into a raffle for a free fuel cell. All right. Don't forget about Brothers. They run those seasonal sales. They got an end of summer sale going on right now, so check them out. And that's it. C10's in the park. Let's get to it. I had an absolute blast. We turned it into a vacation. So while we were out there, my wife and I stayed out there. We went and visited Austin. We were trying our best to keep Austin weird. It's very cool, but it is very weird. And then we went to a place called Fredericksburg, which is really rad. It worked out probably better for my wife. It's pretty much set up for wives to go shopping. Some good German food, which is cool, and some good drink, some wine. It's kind of wine country as well. So I was able to hang out with her, which doesn't happen all that often, and that worked out. Then I shipped her back home on Wednesday, and I was lucky enough to head back up to Dallas area and hang out with some people in Dallas that are in our scene. And more importantly, I got a cool interview. So that will be next, and I'm going to tell you guys right now that I feel like the content was absolutely amazing. I feel like the interview went really well, and I'm stoked to finally break it down. I haven't done that yet because I was getting ready for this interview, but I got a great interview, a kick-ass, rad-ass dude, so hopefully the interview is that as well. So stay tuned for that, and then we're going to have hopefully Dino 2.0, because 3 years ago, Dino was my first guest, and I thought it's about time to check in with Dino. So that'll be coming up as well. So mystery guest for episode 80, Dino for 81, which is kind of funny. I didn't think about that, but obviously 80 interviews since we had him. And then I got some SEMA stuff planned, so the SEMA interviews, and that will take us almost up to SEMA. I'm supposed to sit down with Marquet as well. So Marquet Quality Products, kick-ass products, obviously supporter of the show, but we want to reach out to them and talk to them about the history of that company. So if you have a SEMA builder that you want a question asked, if you have a question for Marquet, if you have a question for Dino, hit me up, Ronnie at C10talk.com, Ronnie at C10talk.com, and I will look at possibly asking them that question. I hope you guys enjoy the show. C10's in the park. I did. I had a blast. I love interviewing all the different people and just getting out there. Some of that Texas hospitality. Those guys were awesome. And talking to them about not only their trucks, but just their passion in the community. So one thing I'm thinking about right now, I just saw something kind of pop up in the corner of my eye, is yesterday was Sunday. We saw some crazy stuff up and around and down with the whole NFL and everything that goes on. I don't try to bring that stuff into this show, but I'm very proud and I'm very happy to stand for our flag and the people that sacrifice their lives, their families, and everything that goes on. I feel like one of the best and most amazing ways that we can pay tribute to the people who have died and served our country is by representing our flag. And so that's, again, I don't try to bring that into this. It's not something that it's tough how the politics gets into it, but I don't feel like some of those people who sacrifice years upon years, they serve their country, they're away from their families for Christmases and watching these kids grow up and so on and so forth. Some of my coworkers obviously have been deployed and left. They've served their country. They've seen their friends die right in front of them. And I just feel like one of the best ways that we can honor those people, past, future, present, is by standing tall for the flag. I do understand that one of those freedoms is to do whatever you want, but I personally feel like that is just one of the most amazing ways to say thank you to all those men and women who have served. So if you have served, my hat is off to you. Thank you for your service. And we live in the greatest nation. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but we're able to get together and not even think about some of this other stuff and just get together and break bread, have a great time with friends and family, and work on trucks and get together and do what we do at these truck events, these truck gatherings, and these truck shows. So for that, you guys have a great week and keep on trucking. Thanks, guys. Late.
All right, C10 Nation. Number one, Uno interview, C10's in the park. And I kind of wanted to do this one first. I'm glad that this is working out this way. None other than Miss Scarlett. Miss Scarlett is an absolutely gorgeous 85 GMC Sierra, and it's owned by Ken McVoy. You might have heard of him, Into Trucks. Probably one of the most successful Instagram pages that I know of. Ken, you do a great job on your social media, on your page, but you've done a really good job of kind of updating us with this build.
Well, I appreciate all the compliments. It's like, Instagram, like we were discussing a little bit ago, Instagram has kind of blown up for me. Started off just a fun thing to do, and I've always been kind of a avid picture poster, and it just went crazy, and I've continued to go with it. And so since I had followers and I like to show stuff off, I also decided why not show off my build. This one we picked up a little over a year ago, 85, like you said, 85 GMC Sierra. Brought it out of Louisiana, brought it in, had nice paint on it, and really, really nice paint, but that was about it. Everything else needed some attention. And so Chris and I, my nephew, we've section by section, piece by piece, we built it from the ground up, and we're, I'd say 99.9% done now.
Well, and if you guys get the chance, Ken has a very active feed, especially on Instagram, but he also has a build thread on the forum, and he does a good job of detailing what he does. So I remember one time you kind of broke down like, hey, I got the steering wheel, I'm working on that. Then I got the grill, and you're really breaking it down. So it's a short, wide. It's just, you're running on American Racing 2022s?
Around,
oh, $22 around. Now, how wide are you in the back?
The American Racing VN 506, last year at LST, we debuted there in the American Racing booth. They custom built them for us. They're 8.5s in the front, 10.5s in the rear. Like I said, 22s. And we decided to go, rather than full polish, we went with a custom brush center to kind of match the brushed grain on the trim on the truck and the interior. They built a matching steering wheel, one-off steering wheel for us to match it. Originally it was polished, but we went back and brushed it to match as well. But back to what you were saying about the forums and the Instagram and so forth. What I like to do is people, you see these big high-dollar shops out there, and people say, oh, man, I can never afford it or I can't do that. I like to show, yes, you can. I've got a pretty well-equipped shop, but it's just a home shop. And if you have a little innovation and a little dedication, perseverance, you can build it yourself, and that's what we've done. And I've broken down each segment as I've gone. Like you mentioned earlier, the steering wheel, the tailgate band, the suspension. Each segment, I break it down. I do a little slideshow, put that on Instagram. Then I go on to Facebook and post the same thing. But then I go to the 67 to 72 Chevy truck forum, and I can go more in depth there. I can take it a little more into detail, and I can answer questions and get a little bit more about it, get a little bit deeper. And that particular thread has gone up to where Scarlett's build is about 50 pages deep now. So it's got a pretty good following.
Well, and the thing about that, you guys, is it's a learning, adventure, because you're going to find out not only what Ken did with the truck, but you're going to learn along the way. And one thing that you said was the 67 to 72 forum. And if you're listening and you don't know what that is, you're like, well, I thought Ken said that was an 85.
back in the day, they just named it 67 to 72. If you have a Chevy truck, there's a segment or section that is specifically for your trucks or your era. So please, if you get the time, jump on there. It's a wealth of information, and guys like Ken and their knowledge are sharing that. Now, you talked a little bit about the wheels, and you said something about the suspension. What is your drop on this truck?
We got the truck was dropped when I bought it, and I tried to kind of research exactly what was on there. But essentially, it's a 5.7 drop. It's spindles and springs in the front with a flip kit, regular flip kit in the rear. It's got Beltec shocks all the way around, Beltec hangers. We tried to clean it up and tune it up a little bit. It's a pretty solid little suspension. It rides well, but it fits real well. But we were having a little bit of problem with the original 22s. They weren't clearing properly. So I reached out to a buddy of mine, Mike Losh, you might be familiar with from Slosh Tubs. And at the time, he made his tubs were designed for trucks that laid out, that were on the ground. And they were pretty big, and they required quite a bit of cutting to make them work. I knew this truck was never going to be that low, so I decided to convince him to try and make something a little bit milder. And he created the 7387 mild tubs. First set went to Scarlett. We debuted them as well. And they give you that additional clearance for a 5.7 drop, or a little more, if you're bagged, mild bagged, give you that extra clearance without rubbing, and you can run a 22. I've got a 265 35 22 on top, on the front, and I don't have any problem with it rubbing at all. As a matter of fact, coming down here, I hit a set of railroad tracks just to test it, and no issues whatsoever. So that worked real well, and it was. I'm glad that Mike took the initiative to build these tubs for this truck.
Well, and now that you're talking about the tubs, we're sitting here looking at the motor, we're looking at the engine bay, and the tubs they look beautiful. And the thing that I really like is how your AC accumulator, your blower, it's all essentially molded so that if you're going to run that factory, you have that option, because the way that they did the tub is it leaves area for those different, like I said, the blower and the accumulator. And all in all, Ken, you've done a great job of this truck. It's one of those that you're not going to miss when you come to the show. It is stunning. So I love that you did name it Scarlett. Now, let's talk about your truck, which we all know is your truck. What's going to happen with the black truck?
Okay, well, that's it's always been just known as a 77. We tried to give it names, and nothing really stuck. This one being red and so forth, we just felt it was a she, and so my wife called her Scarlett. We tried diligently to give the 77 a new name, but nothing would work. So it's just known as the 77. And the 77 is my original 1977 Cheyenne that I bought in 2010. And originally the plan with that was just I was just going to static drop it. My good friend Keith Stevens convinced me to go ahead and bag it and run 20s. And at the time, it was not that common to see a restored vehicle, a restored C10 truck on 20s that was bagged. It kind of became an icon. It's been used for a lot of advertisement. It's internationally known. We brought it out, put it up, brought it out, put it up. And it's got needs a little bit of redo, a little bit of attention. So last year, JD, a buddy of mine that works for RK, convinced me it was time to bring it back out. So that's going to be the plan. We're gonna redo the 77. It's going to come out with all new trim. It's going to come out with a lot of new stuff that's fresh to the market. Mike Losh has decided to build the mild slosh tubs without the cutouts that we were just speaking about. So if you want to shave firewall, we're gonna shave the firewall. It'll have smooth tubs underneath. We're going to keep the ramjet motor. Getting ready to do all new interior. It'll be fresh outside, and we'll start pushing that real soon.
Okay, good. I mean, that's what we want to hear. I'm glad you're keeping that truck. It is an icon. I even remember at one time, I think somebody might have photoshopped like wood grain on it, correct, which was really cool. But again, that truck is kind of how we all essentially, we know that was, sure, is your truck. But it's cool that you've got this. Enjoy this. You've worked really hard. I've enjoyed watching you assemble and build this truck along the way, and you've done a good job of documenting it, and I'm glad you made it today.
I appreciate it. Back to what you were saying about the wood grain. That is correct. Years ago, a buddy of mine, I asked him to Photoshop the wood grain, and it was kind of one of those that I kept hidden in my files for a long time, and somehow it managed to get out on the internet. A few people saw it and liked it and asked me if I was going to do that. I never wanted to. I wanted to do it, but it was something that wasn't real feasible because you couldn't find the correct wood grain or find anything replicated to match. Well, now there's a company that's come along called Low Sierra Company, and Low Sierra Company is kind of a division of Hardcore Chop Rods, and they have started reproducing a lot of the GM-style graphics as well as the wood grain, and they're making kits out there. So look up Low Sierra Company. You'll see what I'm talking about. All the big, bold 70s style graphics, they're doing those as well as the wood grain kits. So that will be going on the 77. It will have a wood grain center on it. We're working with American Racing to come up with some retro-styled wheels that have a kind of a contemporary twist, and it's gonna be a neat build. I think I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah, we are definitely going to go talk to those boys. I want to talk to them about what's been going on in Florida, and Trent and Chris. Those guys are really good guys. They're really good for the truck scene for sure. So we'll hit them up. Low Sierra, Scarlett. I'm glad you made it. She looks beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Ronnie, appreciate it, bud.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Super stoked on this one. We were over at LST. I guess that'd be February, so about 6 months ago, and Steve Green had this beautiful 72. Original two-wheel drive Blazer. I guess it's kind of an emerald green, kind of that sea foamy color, and some bitch is laid out. And I'm a big Commotion fan, so Raceline Commotions. Steve, welcome to C10 Talk, and thanks for coming out. I guess C10's in the park, brother.
Hey, thank you for having me.
What can you tell us about this thing?
Well, like you said, it's a 72 original two-wheel drive Blazer, and so everything in between the frame rails is all Porter-built suspension. We've got the LS1 in it with a overdrive transmission and the Raceline Commotion wheels, and we just finished up the interior earlier this year, and I've had it about 8 years now, and drove it up here from Houston this weekend.
What wheels, what's your spacing, what's your width, front and rear? You got a little lip there, so I know you're from Houston because you got lip.
Yes, sir. On the rears, we got the 22 by 10s with a 4-inch backspace. I did the fronts are 8s with a 5 1/4.
Walk over here with me. So this interior, it looks like something I would see in Phoenix at a place that I go to called Ciudadela. It looks Impala, old school Chevy car-ish, the inserts.
Yeah, what I did, I went to my buddy that did my interior. I went to a shop, an older shop, and I said, man, I want some old material from the 50s, 60s, and some green to match my truck, or turquoise. And he said, oh, go look over here. And I just picked this, and he said, that's the ugliest thing I got. And I said, I'll take it.
Perfect.
So
I really think she might make that. There's a girl, Gina Ciudadela. They make this. They're specialized in like old Bel Airs, Impalas. It kind of has a little bit of like a boat feel, and not a bad boat feel, you guys. I don't want you to think that. Beautiful console. I don't know if I'd call that a back seat, but obviously with the Porterbuilt in the back, it's laying all the way out. Top looks good. Now you've got LS1. What'd you say you have?
Yes, LS1 out of a 02 Trans Am.
Does it have AC?
AC, vintage air front and rear.
Okay. So you've been working on it for 8 years. What is your plan? Just to sit back and now enjoy the fruits of your labor and just kind of go to the shows, and what's the reaction been?
Oh, everybody loves it, and yeah, that's it. We're just going to keep it. We're going to drive it. We took it to Columbus 2 years ago, drove it there and back, and so just hit the roads with it.
Cool. It's a beautiful, beautiful Blazer. It just screams, character and style the way you did it. I like how you have the accents with the grill in the front. You painted it black. Obviously, you're running some HIDs up front, and she's sitting all the way down. It's a beautiful ride, part of relaxed atmosphere out of Texas. Is this your first time C10's in the park?
No, it's our second. We were here last year.
Cool. How can we find you on Instagram?
Green SS69.
Green SS69, you guys. If you haven't seen the Blazer and you're not getting the full picture here, I took a couple right before, but check them out on Instagram. Beautiful ride, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, we got Sean Wiley, not Mr. Wiley. You guys call him Mr. Wiley if you see him. These guys are all out of Amarillo. Do I say Amarillo or Amarillo?
We just say Amarillo.
Okay. If you're from Phoenix, you say Amarillo, but if you're really from Amarillo, you just say Amarillo.
The Yellow City.
Okay, we're from Yella, Amarillo.
That's what it means.
And with 71, 72.
72.
2 two-wheel drive, Blazer, original 2-wheel drive.
Real, original, two-wheel drive Blazer. That's right.
Okay. And the motor, let's go over here. It's 5.3. It's been converted. It's out of a new.
It's an 08 motor. It's a 5.3 LS with a 4L60. Been tweaked on a little bit. Made to run down the road, and it does. It's really stout.
Shave firewall. I just snapped a pic. I'll post it up. Less is more. Very, very clean. You guys kept all the BS out of it and dropped in everything. Now, it looks like you got some headers. What headers are you running?
I think those are Don Hardy's.
Was it a full resto? You got it. You tore it down.
Yep.
And it's been 5 years. How long did it all go?
The truck's been around a long time, probably 12, 14 years it's been around, and gathering parts and pieces. To build a Blazer is a big, big undertaking to find everything in the parts. But, I mean, we had a good truck, a good start, a good tub, and Todd and Cody are big on it's all they build is 72s, and so they had lots of good NOS parts. The truck's got a lot of GM NOS trim on it, and the right interior, the correct, saddle grain interior, scroll interior, everything. So it took a while to get everything, all the pieces and parts together. But when they started, the truck came together in about 2 years, less than 2 years.
What's funny is you talk about the interior, and that's kind of what drew me to this truck, this Blazer, is the buckets and the interior and the console and how clean they looked. And you nailed it. Like Yellowstone, my crew cab truck, when you're doing more than just a regular bench seat and you're doing buckets and then a back seat and you're doing a console and you're doing a carpet kit, it's a lot more, and it's not only a lot more cost, but it's a lot more work. So the interior is really what drew me to this, and it's really just all around winter. The paint, the trim, the stance, the wheels. Now you guys are running billet specialties, and they look like they're 20s all the way around. Okay. Same, we got the steering wheel. Now, what did you guys do for this shell? Because it looks really clean. It's not tacky. It looks like it's all been redone.
Okay, these tops are impossible to find nice and to make nice. Most people, that's probably where they come up short on the building Blazers is the top. A lot of them don't even have tops. But we had a nice top, but it was not perfect. But we had a guy that had some previous experience and knew how to fix these tops and fix them right, get the bird bath out of them. Anyway, so this one was done, fixed right by a real craftsman that had come out of the West Coast and had done them out there, and he knew what to do. It was kind of the holdback on the build. Actually, they put the build on hold for a little bit just due to the top, because they just didn't want to put the truck out with a bad top. And so when we found the right guy, he knew what it was going to take. And he did his thing. And so with a two-wheel drive Blazer, you better have a nice top.
Well, and it's one thing, like you said, it's just another thing that if you're just doing a short bed truck, your cab top, for the most part, it's not going to be anything that you're going to spend a lot of time thinking about. Whereas with a two-wheel drive Blazer or a four-wheel drive Blazer, whether it's a 67-72 or 69-72 or a square body, that's part of the challenge is what condition is my top in? Has it been removed? Now, what suspension drop did you guys do on this truck? It looks static.
Yeah, it's static. It's a 4.6, and it's all CPP stuff, and did it at home.
Now, is this a driver, daily driver, weekly driver, show driver?
Show driver. Todd and Cody have got lots of trucks, and they've got other trucks they drive a lot, but this one's fresh, 500 miles on it, show driver.
Well, to me, again, this is one of those things where the level of classiness, and it's just so clean. It's not gaudy. It's done right. You made the LS conversion. The firewall is cleaned up. It's just an all-around winner. I mean, this is something that would be beautiful to take out with the family, load them up, and take them out for Sunday drive.
It would be, and I mean, it runs beautiful. It rides good. The suspension setup is good. It really rides well. And they hid the little things like hiding the AC hoses and running them through and bringing them where you don't see them through the firewall. Just some extra little things that really make the truck.
What exhaust?
It's 2.5 inch with Flowmasters.
Okay, cool. So you got it all. Now, how do we get a hold of you guys, or how can we see this thing online? Is there social media, Instagram, InstaChat, Snapchat? No, they're shaking their heads.
We're low tech. We call ourselves low tech. But
Low tech redneck or high tech? Yeah, low tech rednecks. All right.
buddies call me. They say, Sean, you the low tech redneck. But
Sean, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you know, you're doing a great job right now.
comfortable with who I am and my little flip phone, and so we're cool, So, but
Well, you guys did a great job, and it's Todd and Cody,
that's right.
father and son. They didn't want to talk, so they got Sean.
Have got some really special trucks at home, and they build them all together, father and son.
Let's get you on social Instabook, and so we can see all of their builds, because right now, whether you guys realize or not, it's just, that's what's really cool about, for Instagram, it's really cool for the trucks, because you just post them up, you look at them, and people would love to see what you guys do. So, Todd, standing by, thank you. Sean, thank you guys for doing that. Thank you to doing that.
All right, thanks, bud.
Hey guys, I've got JD from Marquet on. JD, what's been going on?
Man, what's not been going on? I think that's a better question, Ronnie. We're working on 18 different SEMA builds right now for builders from Delmo to Fat Fender Garage, Jeremy over at Trey 5, and just trying to get all these parts out to those guys. We're doing side moldings, complete beds, exotic bed woods, and the list goes on and on.
You guys are known for your body molding, but you do so much more.
Yeah, it's crazy. We build over 5,000 parts right here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's what's so amazing. Right in the US of A, how do they get a hold of you?
Best way to check us out is mar-k.com.
There you go, guys. Don't forget the dash, mar-k.com. Thanks, JD.
Hey, thanks, Ronnie.
Man, I am super stoked to be teaming up with Brothers Trucks for our podcast. I've been ordering parts from these guys for over 15 years now. So when you are looking for classic Chevy and GMC truck parts, BrothersTrucks.com is your number one source for 1947 through 87 Chevy and GMC truck parts. So whether you are restoring an original or looking to customize that classic truck, BrothersTrucks.com has thousands of the highest quality truck parts for you to choose from. Head over to BrothersTrucks.com and order your free catalog today. Yep, I said free. And the best part is, when you get on their mailing list, you will get their seasonal sale catalogs too, free. It's like when you were a kid and you got that Christmas toy catalog, just better now, because it's awesome truck parts. So head over to BrothersTrucks.com and order your free catalog today. And don't forget to follow Brothers on Facebook and Instagram for daily updates and special offers too.
This is Square Body Central, I'm telling you guys. So when I saw this laid out 66, it's a little refreshing, because there's a ton of squares and there's a lot of slope nose squares here. They definitely like their squares here in the Dallas, Texas area. So I've got Eric. Eric's out of Forney, Texas, which we're just going to go ahead and say that it's essentially Dallas. Got a laid out 66. It is, hell, I don't know. It's green. I'm just trying to think. I really haven't seen too many dark green 66s like this. How about you, Eric?
No, yeah, I mean, when I came across it, it definitely stood out to me. I'm a green guy, and a nice hunter green it's kind of hard to pass up on.
Well, I like that. Okay, hunter green, definitely a darker green, but light enough that it's not over the top too dark, almost brown. It's a clean green. Do you have a name associated with the truck?
I call her Ivy, just, pretty much based on the color.
Yeah, well, that's good. So it's a she, it's Ivy, and she's beautiful. She's laid out. What suspension?
It's got Porterbuilt front and rear. The top section of the rear, I actually kind of fabbed up my own section, but all of his lower components. And then AccuAir and, just Firestone airbags.
Okay. Are those Dell inner fenders?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, they are. They're the cleanest, to me, some of the cleanest inner fenders you can run on this body style.
Without a doubt. So, laid out, beautiful 66. He's got it swapped out. It's got a 5.3. Now, before we kind of started recording, I was talking a little bit. It came from Boris at Street Machinery?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The truck originally came from him with his, budget air ride setup on it. Basically, I got it from him, and I just kind of pulled it apart and went with the Porterbuilt and a lot of the rust repair and stuff like that, and just kind of cleaning up things. It was a pretty fresh truck, and he just, did his budget build on it.
So why buy a truck from Boris versus just finding your own and doing it, from start? Was it the green that got you, or how did that kind of come about?
Yeah, the look of the truck, the green really stood out to me. And I mean, in reality, he can find a nice, clean truck. It's a lot easier to go to him to find a good starter.
For sure, yeah. I mean, that if he's selling you a truck, it's a truck worth buying, and that he doesn't buy crap. And if he did, Boris would tell you. That's what's cool about Boris. So, you guys, this thing with the inner fenders, it looks like he's running vintage air.
Yes, sir.
I could see that kind of going in. What radiator? That's beautiful.
It's Entropy.
Okay, so he's got an Entropy radiator, 5.3, 04?
05, I believe.
Okay, and beautiful inner fenders. It's all the way down, wide whites, coming around. Interior, I tell you what, man, I'm going fishing with Grandpa. Look at that seat.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was the seat that came in the truck. I don't know if it had ever been rewrapped or not. I mean, it just kind of fits the look of the truck, I guess.
No, it does. It literally makes me think I'm in my grandpa's truck. He's got the AC under the dash. Now, is that a CTP for your AccuAir?
No, actually, that was, I forget the gentleman that actually stamped that out for me, and then I just cut and welded it into the piece. That was actually before he started offering those. I mean, I wish I would have went that way. It would have been a lot easier.
Well, it looks great. Now, what can you tell us about those gauges?
They're Dakota Digital gauges.
Are they the new HDXs? Because they look like they got some color to them.
Yes, sir. I believe so. They're just the red with the carbon fiber.
Yeah, so I think those are the HDXs. Why? Big window. Anytime you have a big window on one of these trucks, it's classy. It's got the custom trim. The wood's lifted, the bed floor's lifted. He's running flush essentially with his rear fenders. What rear fenders are those?
Self-made Fab made those inner fenders.
Is it Brandon?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I believe so. I love the fact that they look somewhat stock.
They do. He's got them all the way up. He's got this bed floor. He's got a beautiful kind of I forget that guy's name. Is it like Shiftcraft or something that makes those?
Crafty B is the one that makes that gas cap. That was actually one of the first ones that he had engraved. So, I mean, I thought it fit the theme of the truck.
It's got some Cheyenne scrolling on there almost. Now, what's with your battery setup? Obviously, your battery is down below on your frame rail, and that's just an access point for you to charge it?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Hart Fab actually makes that little recessed panel there, and it was already that kick down on the side was a spare tire mount, I believe, and I just kind of shaped it into there.
Okay, yeah, I think that's Rob, and he does some really nice stuff. He's got his bumper tucked. Everything looks really good. For the amount of old school that you kept and the amount of new school that you've got, I just want to tell you, I love your truck. I really think you hit a home run.
Oh, I appreciate it. Like I said, for me, I'm into the old kind of traditional, and I mean, you can't go wrong once you get all the modern amenities.
It's a perfect balance, you guys. It's what we love these trucks. You have the old metal, you have the shapes, the lines. He's got a cool metal cooler, and what he's done with this truck is absolutely the recipe, from the trim to the wide whites to the way it sits, to the modern drivetrain. You nailed it, buddy. Eric, where can our audience find you on social media to see this beautiful truck?
It's at Eric Deckard. That's ERIC Deckard, DECKARD.
Okay, don't forget about that ARD at the end, Deckard. And Eric, you did a good job because you didn't even want to do this. I'm glad you did, and we love your truck, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, late. Where we're at the show, we're set up almost like at the drive-in of the show, and I see this 76. I'm just looking at a square. It comes in, it's throaty, and I'm like, I've got to track that truck down. So I went all the way to the north, or I go back and I didn't find it. So finally I see it around the corner right from where we were. And here it is. And it's Brian Cruises of Cruisers Customs. And you're based out of where in Texas, Brian?
New Braunfels, Texas.
Which is close to?
It's about 30 miles north of San Antonio.
Okay. He's got a couple projects here. He's got, well, not projects, a couple rad trucks, and he's got a Blazer. What's that? That's 76?
79, yeah.
Okay, so he's got a half top, if you will, red and white. But this 76 truck just grabbed me, and it's tan and tan two-tone. You got the light tan on the dark tan.
We call it buttermilk.
Buttermilk?
Buttermilk, yeah.
Looks like a buttermilk biscuit smothered in gravy to me. It looks pretty yummy. Now, you're rolling on some Raceline wheels.
20 by 10s.
20 by 10s.
20 by 10s, 20
back?
in the rear, and 20 by 8.5s in the front.
Okay, and the big thing with this truck is obviously the LS6. It's throaty. Between the LS6 and the exhaust, what can you tell us about that?
It's basically it's a stock LS6. It's got a street sweeper camshaft in it, custom tune, cold air intake. We do it all in house. HP tuners. It's got long tube headers, 3-inch stainless steel exhaust. MagnaFlow mufflers. So it's all built in house.
Well, when you put the LS6, I mean, that's like the recipe, right? You've got the LS6. It's got a cam. I can hear it. Yeah. You've got the header, and then you've got those MagnaFlows, and it makes what you're saying as a driver, it makes it a rad-ass hot rod.
Yeah, and it's got a built 4L65 in it. It's got a Yank 3600 converter in it, and it drives good. The Yank converters are real docile on the street, but it'll flash 36 too, so.
Well, and the interior is beautiful. I just actually posted a picture of the 76 I got. He's got the same panels. They've got this really unique scrolling on them, wood grain. It's a lot of character. It's very rich. It's got an original square body dash pad that's not cracked at all. It's got Dakota digitals. This thing is classy, man. Do you do it all in house, or is that your business?
Yeah, that's our business. Cruisers Customs. cruiserscustoms.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram. We do a lot of LS swaps, anything from rewires, vintage air installs. We're a dealer for vintage air, complete builds, turnkey builds.
So in your industry, are you seeing the trucks, the cars? What do you see that you end up doing the most?
We do a lot of GM muscle cars and trucks, the 60s, 70s trucks. Square bodies are hot. I own 9 of them, so I love them.
Dick. Are you a square? Do you like the slopes? When you say 9, what's your meal ticket?
I've had more of the 73 through 78, 79. I've had 3, of the slopes. Okay. So, I don't know. I like them both, but
these 9 trucks, are you keeping them? Are you building them? Are you selling them? Because it's a hot market right now.
Yeah, I've sold most of them, okay, but I still own 3.
Well, let me just tell you that he's not a fly-by-night kind of guy, because I looked at this truck and I really, really like his truck. I really like everything about that. It's a driver that sounds rad, that looks rad, and he's owned it since 01, and I won't even tell you what he paid for it. It's just not even fair. But if you bought a truck like this in 01, you either really had a passion for it or you knew that it was going to be a ticket, and or both. So you've got a good recipe down.
Yeah, I had a 79 that was really cool before this one, and I had to get rid of it, due to kids and family life.
Damn kids are sitting right here.
Yeah. So I came across this one and I grabbed it. I've always liked them, so here we are.
Here we are. We're at the show. How's the show going for you? You getting a lot of traffic?
Great, man. Yeah, I passed out a lot of cards, T-shirts, hats. It's great, man. Great show.
Well, if you're in the San Antonio area and you're looking for an LS swap, that's his fastball. Yeah. It's coming in hard. It's coming in hot because he knows what he's doing. Love the truck, and thanks for bringing the family out. I think that's cool, man. It's nice to meet you, Brian.
Hey, thank you. Nice meeting you, too.
All right. This is a good one. I had to stop him because we could just sit and bullshit all day long. But at least Chris made it from hardcore chops and from Low Sierra. So at LST, we absolutely had the pleasure in February of meeting these guys. They came out. They had their Desert Fox Blazer. They had their Desert Fox Suburban out of New Mexico, Albuquerque area. And we just hit it off. And it was, no-brainer. But since then, they've really kind of, just dropped the bomb on us with the Low Sierra company and all the really cool packages that you do. So you not only got your stuff here, because we are going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Irma, but you also have one that you're going to give away. So Chris from Low Sierra, how you been, brother?
Very well. Very, very, very well. Tired, but good. Yeah, so just to touch light on how we got up here, first off. We had plans with Terry to kind of sponsor the show and obviously give away our 77 green avocado truck. And part of those proceeds are going back to C10's for 2018, C10's in the Park for 2018, along with Hurricane Harvey. And this was all long before Irma.
That bitch Irma had to come into town.
She did, man. She did. And it was really frustrating because it was such a long storm, you know. So a week out, it's like, oh, don't make any preparations. Prepare, but don't prepare. Freak out, but don't freak out. So anyway, storm hit, smacked Key West, which is Ed, my partner, and he couldn't make it out here just because of the devastation that it did.
Skinny Ed, we love you, we miss you, and we hope you're doing good. Skinny Ed is the guy who had the Desert Fox at LST. So I hope you hear this, buddy. We hope you're doing as well as can be, and we miss you.
Yeah, he's actually doing really good. Got power today, so he's gonna hear it. So yeah, it was a last minute decision to come up here, and we flew out just to kind of make the raffle and show face at least.
And you had to get the trucks shipped out to raffle anyways, because at one point I remember you posting up, you're like, we need somebody to get this stuff to Texas, please. How did that all go down?
That went down with everyone kind of spreading the word, and actually Ruben Salazar passed on the contact, and his contact is the one that got it done for us. And both vehicles, one was our first donation, first giveaway, and that made its way to Jeremy, and he's been driving it for a couple weeks now and loves it. And C10 now is it's going to go down at 3 o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock.
You guys are making an impact in the scene. You're giving away, you're donating. You know, you didn't know about Irma. You are thinking Harvey. Your heart's in the right place. And then Irma hits.
Yep. Then Irma hits. So the plan now is we have a couple keys charities that we work with. One of it, which is Isla Morada Foundation. And I think what we're going to do with that is I'm going to donate on my next sale. I have my 77 C10. I'll probably let go just to donate probably 50% of the proceeds to that. Yeah, they got pretty torn up. So I know power and electric's back there, but they're going to have roads, bridges, and everything else. So Hurricane Harvey's going to get their relief as much as we could offer. And then obviously we're going to have to bring it right back home and take care of our hometown.
It's not fair, and it's probably not even right, but I almost sometimes feel like you guys are like Floridians are stronger. Don't get mad at me, Houston, but you just know how to deal with it more. So do you feel like we cut you more slack, or the world says, oh, these guys deal with this shit all the time? Whereas with Harvey, it's not something that Houston and the area here deals with. So I wonder, from Arizona, I don't have to deal with, just miserably hot, but I just wonder, do you feel like that's a change of perspective, that we think you guys can just handle everything?
Well, I mean, you have Hurricane Harvey, so I don't think anyone expected that thing to just halt. I don't know if anyone could really be prepared for that. I mean, other than building code and Florida's structures are a lot stronger, but I think we luck out as far as water because we have the Everglades, which naturally filters itself. So I don't think we would have been devastated quite like Texas was, because they're ultimately not prepared for some sort of devastation like that. And then, Florida's also kind of the bottom of the map too. Not a lot of people really think of Florida, whether it's even the C10 community or even storms, because I think we're kind of immune to being hit, just like maybe South Carolina or Georgia is. So I don't know if we're any more prepared. I think we're just a little bit more aware. I think Irma caused the largest evacuation ever
in Florida.
I think ever.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that bitch.
Yeah, that bitch. So yeah, she wreaked some havoc, and we're moving forward, and we bounce back stronger. Yeah.
I think the same for the people in Houston. When we talked to Ryan Brown about what was going on, people are just rad, and they just work through it. And for anybody that lost anybody or was significantly hurt, my heart is just deeply, deeply out there, and I feel you. But I think it's cool how when you do come through this, you just come back, because you're, one of my favorite sayings, and sometimes I do these quotes on here, is the world is not interested in the storms that you have encountered, but whether or not you brought in the ship. You guys brought in the ship, brother. You guys are here. You have the truck here, and you have Low Sierra now, and you guys are bringing in a lot of ships that are really cool, vinyl wrapped. Big Fish Garage is here. He brought in his Low Sierra package. I just snapped some shots. Low Sierra, you guys are killing it.
Right on, man. And we're going to keep going. We've got plenty more to come. So,
You're teasing us.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, if you want to touch base, I mean, we really focus on the rare packages. So we have, the Spirit of 76. We have, I kind of have a personal project of mine where I'm going to be mashing up a couple of different kits into one. And hopefully it turns out good. It's going to be funky for sure. But, the overall goal is to really preserve what the 70s gave us. And right now it is the 70s, and we will get into the 80s.
Big hairy bush or what?
If that's what you're into.
I'm not saying that's what I'm into. That's just what the 70s gave us.
It did. Besides some
the good stuff. You're saying, yeah. So we're going to take the good stuff from the 70s.
With a set of clippers to trim it down, yeah.
Well, you guys, his background, and I don't think I knew this before, but his background is in graphics. So, we just dropped the Cummins / Duramax swap episode, which I really think is where you can take the best metal and match it with killer drivetrain, whether that's an LS, whether that's a diesel. But now what you're doing is you're saying, I like this graphic, it was rad. What happens if I blend it with this graphic and keep the clippers on standby?
That's exactly it. It's trying to add a modern touch because, we want to keep this alive. So instead of doing direct copies, which we're going to be doing for the guys that want to keep it OE and keep it original. But the overall goal, especially with Low Sierra, is to maintain the integrity that the 70s already had. It's kind of hard to perfect something that's almost perfect already. So all we could do is try to make it look cooler, because these graphics are already fucking really rad.
Oh, they are so rad. And what's cool about it is at the time they came out, they were essentially promotional and they were kind of like weird rad. And now they're just rad.
Right. Now they're just, for our era, is just like, oh, I need more of this. How can I get more of this? How can I get it faster?
Yeah, it's like the wood grain, the yellows, the different colors, the funky colors. We grew up with them, we saw them, and now they take us to a place just like the trucks do, to a good time in our life.
Very good time, yeah. Just like anything, we know history kind of repeats itself, so let's make it better, And
except for the hairy bush.
Except for the hairy bush. So that's what the clippers are for. We're going to keep those really close in the pocket. So, at LST 2017, we came out there with the hardcore chop rods built, 77 Jimmy, and we came out with my 77 Suburban. And I think when we went out there, we didn't really go out there with expectation other to see what else everyone else is doing. I think we're more intrigued to see other trucks than we were ourselves. And we got to meet you, and we got to meet the Big Fish guys, Todd and Larry, and we met Kevin, Digital C10. So I think that opened up a whole different spectrum. And I think it really took that show to say, all right, we need to kind of get off our asses and step it into gear even more. So it's not only Low Sierra. We have hardcore chop rods that does these builds, and Trent that kind of does think outside the box and put in that extra hour, even though I want to kill him sometimes because it's out of budget. But I think at the end, that's what kind of brings it all together and says this is who we are and this is what we do. And Funky Stripes are who we are, and we're going to have a full line of merchandise and accessories and all sorts of rad shit, man.
So just lowsierra.com and obviously Low Sierra on Instagram, Facebook, social media.
Yep, we're going to be lowsierracompany.com, and we got squarebodygraphics.com. We separated it just for the ease of the graphics. It's kind of a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, in your face. This is who we are. You could get to either one of the sites on the same site. So they'll basically be piggybacked off of each other.
For sure, yeah. We do C10 Talk, C10 Nation. One thing I did see that you guys did was, and I don't know if they call it the Screaming Chicken or whatever, but you did like the 72 Blazer, and that was really rad.
Yeah, so I've seen that it's been called a couple different names. I know it as the Feather Package. The Screaming Eagle is another rendition of it that actually came on Suburbans, long beds, and short beds.
But I think the Screaming Eagle was more on the squares, where the Feather was more on the 70. Yeah, like a lot of Blazers.
I think only Blazers.
Okay, yeah. I've only seen it on Blazers.
I've only seen them on Blazers, but we will be bringing the kits to be able to. I think the goal is to be able to retrofit it into anything. Yeah. Why do you have to kind of stick with one avenue? Why does it have to be on a Blazer? Why can't you put it on a truck? We'll have different kits for that. And we are 67, 72 guys. We're not just square body guys. We have a couple of them. We have a 71 Cheyenne that's kind of been it's been in hiding for a while now that we have big plans for as well. And we also have our 71 Cheyenne utility box that we're supposed to debut here, which has our own little stripe kit on it as well. So
a lot of really cool things coming out of hardcore, low Sierra, square body graphics. I think you guys probably need to have your own show that we do a full hour. He showed me a few things here. I'm not gonna let out of the box yet. I think it's cool that I'm privy to see it, but at the same time, let me just tell you guys, stay tuned, because they've got some great ideas. They've got some hustle behind the muscle, and we love what you guys do. All of you guys, Trent, Ed, and Chris, you guys are killing it.
And honestly, I think the industry as a whole is what's inspiring, and I think everyone else is really what keeps us going. And seeing these cool trucks roll out of here, and not to just put a plug out there, but Yellowstone kind of set a bar. And if you notice, there's a lot of guys that are kind of doing that rendition, and just like anything, you need something inspiring to look at, and all we could do is give our part. So we thank you guys in return for allowing us to be in the industry and say, fuck it, let's see what these guys could do. And I think that's more humbling than anything else. So
that's flattering, because I love what I've been able to do with that truck, especially from the interior perspective. I know that's something that you and I and Ed sat down on that truck, and it just took us back to Grandma's house. And from the igloo consoles to the seat to the inserts, the headliner, and really just the funky camper. It's just cool.
Funky camper. And let this be known for the record that igloo coolers weren't cool until Yellowstone and Ronnie made them cool.
All the way to Texas, baby.
I'll tell you, man, because after I saw that, I scooped up every single one I could find before they hit $100, because I didn't spend that much money on any of them.
Yeah, now they're like $200. And I'll tell you where I got it from. None other than Rob Yezzy and Joe Yezzy, because they had them sitting there, and then I saw them, and I'm like, hey, my kids need them. So we take them out to LST, and the next thing I know, I think we were all bidding on the same ones.
It's very possible, and yeah, those guys over there at Square Body Syndicate they're a force, and I think everybody watches them. I think everybody learns from them, and I think that's what makes this industry so good, is that it's not an industry built off of people kind of hating on each other. It's an industry that's like, damn, that's fucking rad, that's cool. How can I do something better than that? For me, it's all friendly competition. How can I do better? How can I be better? How can we make our trucks better?
Well, you and I have talked about this. I know I've talked about this with Joe, but we all grew up in the same streets. We all watched the same shows, and now our same likes are coming to the top. And so Joe and I literally have had some of the same ideas within reason that you could pencil down, and you would swear that, like, the other guy was talking to the other guy, but it just kind of comes together. And when you look at Yellowstone, and when you look at these packages that you guys have, it like you said, it lights that fire, and we're like, oh shit, what about this? Oh, what about this? I mean, hell, that new truck I just got, that 76, that shit's crazy, right? That shit's crazy.
And I think that's what makes the industry good, is that we have a lot of like-minded individuals, and with that, I mean, all you could do is bounce the ideas off, like, hey, dude, you should use this, you should do that. And for the record, I got yelled at by my 7-year-old daughter for this green truck because she loved it so much. So, she's like, Dad, where is it? It's in Texas now. You're not going to see it anymore. What?
So 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
So, all right.
Down, so.
I'll be interviewing the winner of this truck.
That's what made this particular giveaway so special, since it is about Texas and it is about C10's in the park. The criteria was there was only 100 tickets, and 1,000 of that was going to the Harvey victims, and 1,000 of that was going to the C10's in the park to get ahead of the game for 2018. And I think that's what made this so special, was you had to attend this show. So we knew 100 people were going to be here. So come drive a truck away. And that's what it was supporting the cause, because C10 also donates to a charity. Yeah. So it's not about the money. It's about someone walking away with a really cool truck while supporting people.
Other people are benefiting. Exactly. Well, then we're going to have the interview of the lucky winner, who is going to get a one rad-ass truck. And we're excited. We're excited that you guys made it out. I know it wasn't easy for you guys, and it does. It shows your commitment to the scene, your passion, and
The trucks are cool, but the people are cooler. Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
A couple weeks ago, obviously, Houston got hit pretty hard with Harvey, and Jason Polite from Dead End Garage sent me a picture, and essentially what had happened is some of the C10 family really got hit, and we saw it. I mean, I posted up pictures of their trucks. They were flooded. I mean, they were water every bit of 1 foot, if not 2 foot, all the way, in through the cab. So we got together and you guys rallied. We had a sale. We donated a little over $1,100 to Harvey. And what we did was we said, hey, I'm going to give out some hats and shirts and stickers and whatever to Big Rob and Little Rob. And I was getting ready to ship it all out. It was over 50 shirts. And to be honest with you, I forgot about soul print stuff. So it's over 60 shirts and it's over a dozen hats now. So I was able to bring that stuff with us instead of shipping it because you guys were here, and Jason Polite told me you guys were going to be here. So we were able to give them their box just now, and, I mean, explain to us what you had to go through over the last, essentially, 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks basically is when you look outside and see your vehicle underwater. My wife was more worried about the house. I was more worried about the trucks. But what we did is we sat back and waited till the water went down, and then we started analyzing what we had to do first, drain the liquids and grease up everything we could. Basically just took our time and let it dry out, left the doors open, windows down, and hood up for at least a week,
How would you describe, like, the level of the height of the water?
It was pretty high. It got about to under the seat. And about a few weeks later, we had to change the starter and stuff, drain all the fluids and stuff. Good thing it didn't reach the fuse box because it would cause a lot of more damage.
Oh, sure, and cleaning that up is not an easy task. So it dries out. Let's say, let's call it 4 days, call it a week. It dries out. Now what?
Now, after it dried out, that's when we started realizing the starter was gone. And then after we changed the starter and changed the liquid, once we put the starter on, it cranked right up, and we were surprised. It cranked right up.
Did you drain the oil?
Yeah, we drained the oil.
Was there water? Was it milky?
We got a lot of water. We had 2 tubs of water before the oil even started coming out.
Oh, shit.
And then when the oil started coming, it was milky, and then we drained it. We left the plug open for about 3 or 4 days just to make sure everything drained out. And then we plugged it back up, and we filled it back up, and she cranked up like old champ.
How about the rear diff?
Rear diff, we haven't really, it was no leakage on it, nothing like that. So we checked it, and we drove it
it wasn't milky?
No, it wasn't milky at all. It was fine.
So I would almost think after you change the oil, like, now you're going to go back and do it one more time just to make sure there might be, okay.
Yes, we're going to change it. Matter of fact, we just checked it when we pulled it off at the hotel, and we checked it, and it's fine right now. But when we get home, I told them we're going to change it again. It wouldn't hurt.
Okay. So I'm sure you guys know of other friends and family, especially C10 community, as tight-knit as it is, that were probably also affected.
Yes. Ruben was telling us, I think like 6 more guys lost they totaled their cars and stuff. But we've been reaching out, give them support, call them, tell them we got prayers, keep them in spirit.
Obviously, the family is thinking about you guys. And that's why everybody rallied around and said, hey, let's get these guys some gear. So, like I said, go through it. You got over 60 shirts. Some doubles, give them to your C10 family, give them to your family, whatever it is, because we just want you guys to know that there's only so much that we can do, especially from, Phoenix and all over. We had people, even Terry, he sent me some C10's in the park stuff, and then I brought it back with me. So he's in it to win it too. So it's cool because people care, and you guys are good people. I don't remember meeting you, but I remember meeting you at LST last year, for sure.
Yeah, I was with him last year because you was working inside and selling stickers. We talked to you about it. You was right across from the club. But we really appreciate the love and support, man. That goes a long way when you're dealing with something. Not only that, people losing their homes and automobiles. We had total 7 vehicles in the water we lost. And we had 3 old schools, and we was trying to survive them. Lost the Expedition F-250. Lucky it was high enough, but we
can't say F-250 on this. It's a C10 podcast. Yeah, you can't say any no expeditions, no explorers, no excursions, no super duties. You can't say any of that, dude.
Hey, okay. Oh, the other trucks.
So you guys lost some that you were going to total out?
Yeah, my wife's vehicle they totaled out. My big truck the other truck. It'll be all right.
Do they? This one, I guess, you probably just have comp on it if you have anything on it, but because I could see them trying to. You could say, well, you could total it, but I want it back anyway, so don't touch it.
Don't touch it. That's it. Don't even look that way. Don't even worry about that. We handle that one. I don't care if it take me 10 years. It ain't going nowhere.
Well, we're glad you pulled through it. It's pretty amazing to think that 3 weeks ago, essentially, I'm getting pictures of this thing flooded, and you guys made it here today. You worked diligently on getting it cleaned up, getting it dried up, and she's a runner. Yes. Got a lot of character. You can pull that off. You might want to change the name. What's the name?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I thought about Patty Melt because they got that orange and white color going on, like Whataburger. So all-time favorite, Patty Melt.
Thousand Island, now that it freaking got flooded. It's on its own damn island. It kind of looks like Thousand Island. Well, I'm sure you'll come up with something. We're thinking of you, and we're just glad. So to get a hold, you guys can reach out to these guys on Instagram. You can see what they're doing. Dirty Red
C10, Dirty Red _ C10.
Dirty Red _ C10 is Big Rob, and Little Rob's like Rob 8675309, something like that. What is it?
No, it's Rob R _ 34.
34. What's that? What's the significance of that?
Nothing. It's just I needed an Instagram name.
But, what's the significance of 34? You were like on the third month, on the fourth day?
No, because all the usernames were taken, so I just started adding letters and stuff.
Okay, Rob R _ 34 5 6 7 8 9 10 8 6 7 5 3 0 9. Okay, Rob R _ 34. Thank you, both of you guys. You're class act. I'm glad you guys got it out here, and honestly, we're stoked to give you that stuff because it's cool to give stuff to cool people, and you guys are rad. And the C10 community, I say it all the time, but the trucks are cool, but the people are cooler, and you guys are right there.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, guys.
I saw Big Sheldon walking, and I had seen him earlier in the day drive in with this big old, the hips is what got me. So he's got a 79 C30 dually. And the one thing about these dualies that's really rad ass is that they look four-wheel drive just the way they sit. And with it being a C30, it's obviously a two-wheel drive. 79, so you still got some beautiful round headlights. Black as black can be, man. Now, what is that original paint, Sheldon?
That's original paint. We buffed on it last night and tried to make it shine for the show, but that's original paint that's on there.
How did you get this truck? How long have you had it? What's the story?
I've had the truck for about 3 years. I got it down here in Lindsay, Texas from an old boy that I knew. He was just using it to haul stuff around and stopped using it. I pulled it to my shop and we put it together and cleaned it up a little bit and been driving it ever since.
Don't these, single cab dualies, they just scream attitude.
Yeah, oh yeah. People see them coming. They like the way they look from the front when you got them slammed. You see those hips sticking out, it just looks tough coming down the road.
Oh, it looks tough. It looks sexy. Now, I'm not sure, some sort of brushed aluminum Alcoa style wheel, front and rear.
Yep, that's right. 19 by 5s all the way around.
They actually look taller. They look more than 19.5s. I don't know, maybe just because you're running a little bit lower profile wheel or tire, rubber, if you will. So he's got the stock 350. It's been cleaned up, dressed up, different intake, valve covers, running the front serpentine kit. AC, interior is nothing but clean. And then you got the headlights up top, the camper lights. This is a really nice truck.
Yep, real nice truck, man. We're hoping we can get another one built before next year, so we'll have 2 of them out here. We got one more that we're working on now, so hopefully next year we'll have another one.
What's the story with that one? What year?
That one's a 79 GMC, blue and white. We went up to Missouri and bought it. It was an old farm truck, had a camper on it. Pulled the camper off, bed's in great shape. The motor had a 454 big block in it, pulling that out, going to go LS, so it's just going to be just a straight tow pig.
Well, I'm going to hit him up and he's going to have to show me some pictures on that one. He can't get away with that easy. But so I see him drive in, and so this place is pretty big. He's all the way at the other end, and I had already came up here because this truck got my attention. So I didn't see him earlier. I get up here, we're looking over the truck, and I'm like, man, this truck next to this truck is my kryptonite. It's a 72, orange and white. It's beautiful. And he says, oh, well, that's my other truck. So he's got 72 short wide box, orange and white. It's got a little pearl in it. So it's not really a hugger or just a factory style orange, but it's got a little bit of tastefulness. He's got an LS in it, smooth firewall, running Willwood master cylinder. You got Willwood brakes too?
Not yet. That's coming.
Okay. And then you've got obviously vintage air. What's the story with this truck?
This truck is a 1972, like you said. It's painted House of Color, Tanzanite Pearl, over white. We went back with the wood bed, bucket seats, Dakota digital gauges, Be Cool radiator, just pretty much everything besides the brakes. That's the only thing we got left to do.
Now, how long have you had this truck?
About 13 years.
Now, what do you think about, like, for me, I'm always really been a 67, 72 guy, but I'm really starting to gravitate to these squares. You were obviously doing the same.
Yep. Yeah, just something different. You see so many 67, 72s, and just the squares just had a total different attitude to the truck. So I think it's good to have both.
Yeah, it's good to give you some balance. And obviously, the one thing about truck guys is their creativity flows. It gives them a way and an outlet to work on that. You guys have done a great job. I would absolutely love to see, if you do have it, you got to share it with me, a picture of do you have a name for this black truck?
Chloe.
Yeah. I'll tell you why it's Chloe Kardashian, because he's got a big ass. So he's got Chloe Kardashian with those hips looking just sexy as hell. And then, what about the Tanzanite Pearl 72? You got a name for that truck?
Callie.
Callie? Just because Callie's cool or what?
That's what my buddy's name is, that or Trailer Queen.
Yeah. Well, I would definitely like to see Chloe Kardashian pulling the Trailer Queen, or Chloe, Callie. Callie, yeah. So pulling Callie. Sheldon, do you have Instagram?
Yes. What is it? Shelt Dog. SHELTDAWG.
Shelt Dog. So SHELTDAWG. So we can even just say Shelt Dog.
That's it.
All right. So check him out on Instagram. You'll see Chloe Kardashian. You'll say Callie, the Trailer Queen, and it looks like maybe a 79 GMC. And what's that truck going to be called? You're going to wait on that one?
I don't know. I'm going to let you name it.
Shit, don't even get me going. I can't wait to see it. He just showed me a picture. I like the patina on this truck. I'll tell you that right now. So he's starting with what I would call really good bones on this truck. And I'm looking right at it, Shelt Dog. So he's got it posted up. You can get a good view of this truck that he picked up, this dually. It is a single cab dually. And check him out, Shelt Dog. Thanks, Shelton.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right, man. Hey, guys, I've got Travis from AZ Pro Performance on today. Travis, what's the latest?
Just been running and gunning, trying to hit all the shows. Just got back from the West Coast and now heading out to Dallas next week.
You guys go to a ton of shows. Are you really able to connect with the C10 Nation that way?
Yes, absolutely. That's actually the best way for us to connect to our customers face-to-face and really get some good feedback on the products we sell. More importantly, it gives us some good insight on what they want us to carry and add to our product lineup.
Last time I was at the shop, you guys had just kind of unveiled the whole Chopping Block series. What's new?
So what we've added is Dirty Dingo, which is a lot of your LS swap components, front accessory drives, motor mounts. Clayton Machine Works for a lot of your interior trim, pedal assemblies, valve covers. And then, of course, Curry Enterprises for your 9-inch Ford needs.
What's the best way for the C10 Nation to get a hold of you?
Our website, azproperformance.com, and also Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect. azproperformance.com. Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, Ronnie.
C10 Nation, what's stopping you? Well, CPP has you covered. They offer multiple different options to make the disc brake conversion as easy as possible on both you and your wallet. And I am so stoked to announce they are giving our listeners 10% off your total order. 10%. Damn, son. From stock height conversions to their Big Brake Grand Slam kit. This kit includes their famous modular spindle, a 13-inch rotor, and twin piston calipers. How's your altitude? You need to get a little lower? CPP has you covered there too. They offer a wide variety of drop kits for you to choose from. Have you seen their late model power steering boxes for C10s? Their 500 series power steering boxes are 100% brand new units inside and out. It's the best on the market today, and it's a direct bolt-on to 1967 through 87 C10 truck frames. Guys, take advantage of this 10% savings now. Head over to classicperform.com, that's classicperform.com, and use special code C10TALK. That's C10 TALK to save big today. The build up on this one is
that I just did this whole interview with Steve, and I looked down and my recorder wasn't going. So we got a little rehearsal round. But no, honestly, I was walking around, and this one stopped me in my tracks. 72 Chevy, blue and white two-tone, white top, which is, I love the white top. I would say the blue is just a tad, darker than baby blue. It's that 72 blue that you see. This truck, now that you've mentioned it, Steve, I've seen this maybe is there a picture of it maybe with one of the good guys where it's like on the racetrack?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Classic Truck shot me in 2012, and they shot me on the track with my son, which was super cool. We made 3 laps around the NASCAR track in Fort Worth, and that was a lot of fun, and especially to do it with my son, that was even better.
Yeah, it's funny because once I don't know, just somehow in my mind I see it, the wheels for sure. I'm like, this truck, I've seen this truck on the Raceway, Texas Motor Speedway, so that's obviously where, I've seen it and recognize it. And again, it's a beautiful truck. How did you get this truck?
I got this truck about 15 years ago, and me being a 72 model, I wanted a 72 model pickup, and my father-in-law found one in Indiana for me. And so he picked the truck up. He had it for a few months, and then I picked it up from him, and it was basically a stock farm truck in pretty good shape. Had a little rust on the passenger door. The paint was faded real bad, but I went and picked it up, brought it back to Texas, and started a 15-year project.
So it was originally the same blue, it was just a faded blue?
It was the same medium blue linen white combo that's on it now. This is actually the same paint. It's probably 15 years old. I've cut and buffed it a couple of times, and it looks pretty good for a 20-year-old paint job.
So you guys painted it when you first got it, or your father-in-law did, or it was originally had been painted?
It had originally been painted. I've had it for 15, and the guy he bought it from, it was faded, and the guy said that he had painted it a few years before that, so I'm guessing around 20 years. So, I mean, it's weathered, and I could tell you every little scratch and nick on it, but from 20 feet, it's a beauty.
Well, let me tell you, not even from 20 feet, from 5 feet, because he's full of crap, because the paint is really in good shape. He's cut it, he's buffed it, it looks really sick. He's got the Budnick wheels, he's rolling on 20s. He's got what we talked about earlier when we were not recording was he hasn't raised the bed floor. So when you see a truck that's this low on bags, it's obviously touching, your frame rail. It looks deep because the bed is all the way down your bed floor. So it's one of those things where we just haven't seen that in a long time.
That's right. And this truck was in pretty good shape. The bed floor was almost perfect. We had to do a few little modifications to the bed floor just to clean it up before I shot a rhino liner in it. But it was so straight that I hated to cut up the bed, so I've got all CPP tubular suspension and they're bolt-in C-notches, and it's as low as you can go without raising the bed floor. And being 45 years old, I'm a classic guy, and I kind of like this look. It doesn't lay frame, but it's low enough for me, and I'm okay with that.
Well, I think it looks really nice. Now, what's the build process? You've been working on it for 15 years.
So I've been working on it for 15 years. I bought it. It was pretty much a stock truck. First thing I did is I lowered it, did a static drop, drove it for a little while, had 15-inch weld wheels on it.
So C-notch back then or no?
No C-notch, yeah. So, I'm driving around and I'm reading these trucking magazines, and I'm kind of starting to get my niche for what's going on. I'm seeing who's building what, and I said, man, you know what? I'm fixing to dive off into this. So stock A-arms, everybody that's got a 67 to 72, the stock A-arms, they squeak like crazy. I ditched those, put CPP tubular A-arms on the front, bought the drop cross member tubular trailing arms for the back, bagged it, put an airlift performance air management system on it, and drove it for a little while like that, and was kind of trying to feel my way around the wheel world. We live in a 5-spoke world. Everybody's got some kind of 5-spoke wheel, and I wanted something different. And when I saw the Budnick gassers, they just kind of stood out. And so that's what I went with, 20 by 8.5 front, 20 by 10's rear. I couldn't be more happy with choosing these wheels. I see now that the market's getting flooded with a 10-spoke wheel. Billet Specialty's got a turbine that's pretty much an identical wheel, and I see a lot of trucks out there with this wheel. So,
well, you were ahead of it, and it is a cycle where you go from a 5-spoke to a 10-spoke, and I would say that's probably why I recognize your truck. You think it would be with the medium blue, but it was because of the wheel that I recognized the way the truck sat and with the wheel. So you have the right wheel combo on this truck. Now, let's move over to the front. What about this motor?
Okay, so this truck originally had the original wore-out 350 turbo 350 combo, and about 2 years ago, I said, it's time to upgrade. And so, me and my father started a 6-month project. We pulled everything from the firewall forward off, and was trying to decide between going LS or going back with a classic motor that's carbureted. Ended up getting a 45070 Edelbrock crate motor. It's a 315 horse crate motor. Took one of their cast aluminum intakes, ground it smooth, painted it to match. Had C10's build me a set of custom valve covers, weld bungs in the back for a breather and PVC valve. Ground the block, the water pump, everything smooth, and it's all painted the linen blue and medium blue. Linen white, medium blue to match the truck. And, it's so different. I have so many people come up and they comment on the motor and they're like, man, you're crazy painting this thing white. It's going to show every spec. And I'm like, I wanted to be different. You can buy chrome and you can bolt it on and be just like the next guy, but I wanted something different and I wanted it color matched. And, I did all the paint work myself. The intake is base coat, clear coat. Everybody thinks that, oh man, that's powder coated. It's too smooth, but it's painted. I painted it myself. Turned out great. But this is really special to me because my dad passed last January, and this is the last thing we got to do together. So everything from the firewall forward was new last summer. Debuted it last March at Good Guys, and I got an LMC truck pick, which was awesome. Got to drive through the winter circle, and I had a banner on the front windshield dedicating it to my dad, which was really awesome. But, I had a guy come up to me earlier, and he said, man, what would it take to buy this? And I said, man, even Donald Trump couldn't buy this truck. It's too special.
President Donald Trump.
Sorry, President Donald Trump, excuse me. But, so...
Well, now talk about this surfboard. What's the story? You're in Houston, or you're in Texas?
I'm in Houston. I'm 45 minutes from Galveston, and I've always been a California dreamer. I wanted to surf, so I bought this surfboard, took my son. We hit Galveston, which is 45 minutes away from us, and, it didn't take but a couple of weekends where we figured out, hey, look, this is not for us. We look pretty ridiculous out here, so said, you know what? I'm going to paint it two-tone to match, and so I shot the board in the medium blue and the linen white. My buddy John Carpenter from Santa Fe, he airbrushed the wood grain and then the upper trim, and when I stand it next to the truck, it matches perfectly. And so I get a lot of compliments on the board, and most people walk up and they see it and they go, wow, that's a really cool board. Then I pull it out, stand it next to the truck, and then they're going, wow, that's freaking awesome.
I'm going to have to get you to do that. That looks really cool. Now, with as much, you bought it from your father-in-law. You and your dad worked on it. It's got class, it's got style. Do you have a name for this truck?
Well, when Classic Trucks shot the truck, they actually came up with a theme, and they called it Birth Year C10. So the story behind the truck, I was born in 1972. This truck was built in 1972. We own an independent auto supply that opened in January of 72. So the theme of my life has been 72. So Birth Year C10, really, it kind of just fit. And it kind of stuck. So, and ironically, I know it's crazy, but my dad died last year at the age of 72. So that number has just stuck with me, and for good and bad. And that's kind of the theme. But I've kind of did the whole California dreaming theme because I've got the surfboard. I've always dreamed of going to the coast and catching a wave, but it's not going to happen. I'm a Texas boy, and
Well, part of it's just the experience. So it's the experience of building the truck with your dad. It's the experience of everything that you've got going. You killed it. It's a rad truck, and you should be proud. You should be proud of what it represents and what you've been able to do with not only your father-in-law, picking it up. There's a tie to the story there, and then you and your dad being able to build it, and your son driving it, with you when you got to shoot it. So it all kind of comes full circle.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
Hey, thank you so much.
We just interviewed Steve Lambert, and now we're lucky enough to have a special guest today. Not Owen Lambert, but Libby Lambert. Miss Libby, you're 9 years old. We got to talk while we were waiting on your dad. Now, what's this? I see this jar with all these lemons in it and stuff. What's that? What are you doing today?
Donating money for the poor people, who lose money, and I want to donate to them that lose money.
Okay, because you guys live in Houston, and they got hit by the hurricane, right?
Yes, they did.
How much money have you raised today?
We didn't count it yet, but we're gonna count it all together.
And you're gonna donate all the money. I'm gonna go get some money and come back because I need some lemonade and I want to donate. But isn't it cool that you're going to do this by people today, buying lemonade? You're going to help all those people?
Yes, I'm excited.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 3rd grade,
What school?
FPCA.
Were you affected by the storms at all?
No, we just got a little bit leak and that's it. And
it?
yeah, we didn't get, the water didn't come in that much.
That's good. What do you think about your dad's truck?
Well, it's nice too. It's nice, yeah.
Do you like trucks?
Yeah, I like trucks.
Have you been able to walk around and look at all the cool trucks?
Yeah, it's a little.
What about all these people? There's a lot of trucks here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people, huh?
Yes.
Do you know your dad's is one of the coolest ones here?
Yeah.
Isn't that neat?
Yes, that's really neat.
Libby, thank you for taking your Saturday and making lemonade, and for donating all the proceeds to Hurricane Harvey victims.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, sweetheart.
Bye.
Yeah, that was good. Hey, you guys didn't know this, but Bruno Mars is a C10 pimp. Because I saw this guy drive in with this Bonanza 20, 70, don't tell me I'm looking at it, 77 Bonanza. It's got like this aqua-ish greeny, sea mist green, Aquaman color look. And Bruno Mars is freaking driving it. So I got to get a picture with Bruno Mars. But who are you? And tell us about your trucks, my brother. I like your style, man.
Thank you. My name's Amato Escobar Jr. and I'm from Brenham, Texas, Bluebell ice cream country. And where I'm from, man, we're just from the country, and we just love these old trucks. And I grew up with these trucks. I grew up with pretty much cars and trucks and working on them. And my dad gave me a 66 C10 back in high school. And, man, the domino effect is just keep collecting them. I'm broke, but I got trucks. So,
but you look like Bruno Mars. You're good, man. You're broke, but you got style. Because when he says his dad gave him a 66 C10, he's also pointing at it. Okay, so it's not like he gave it to him and then he sold it and drove it. He gave it to you. You still have it. And then what also, once I came over here and I see the Bonanza, I mean, I'm instantly caught with the Sierra Classic 3500 or 35, if you will, another single cab dually. You know I love those camper specials. Look at my shirt right here. Okay, so he's got the 19.5s with matching kind of a cream color. You didn't just bring one truck to the show. You brought 3 trucks to the show.
Yes, sir, sure did. I didn't know how I was going to get all 3, so my Bonanza actually hauled the dually on a trailer, and my brother drove my 66 C10 trailing in behind us, so it all worked out.
So let's talk about the Bonanza, because I do like the dually, but the Bonanza is so clean. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and I'm going to say, and you know it, and I can honestly tell that the whole whopping 3 minutes we've been talking, you're going to be honest, this is a 9 all day long.
Yeah, easy. I actually saw this thing on Craigslist, and I missed it by 3 days, and it said sold, sold, sold. And I gave up on it. I knew that was the one I was looking for, and I missed it. Had a friend, Chase Mulder. He's a hot rod molder on Instagram, and he found it again. And I said, no, that's the one that's already sold. And I called, and sure enough, it was back for sale. Guy fell on hard times, and called him, and I said, look, don't laugh at me, don't hang up, but I'm calling you from Texas, and you're driving my truck. And so he laughed, and we connected. It was a Wednesday when I called, and it needed to be gone by the weekend. I was knocking on his door at Friday at 12 o'clock, took off of work and everything. But yes, you're right. This is an original 77 Bonanza, sea mist green. I was born in 77, so I had to have a 77 because it's the only year they had yellow in all the trim. I was looking for a truck with all original trim, no wrecks, no dents, and no rust, and this is the one. It took me 15 minutes to walk around the truck, open the doors, close the doors, and I gave him what he wanted. And
15 minutes? What the hell took you so long?
Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah.
I saw you roll in, and I didn't even need 5 minutes. Yeah. This thing's amazing.
Yeah, I told him I'd take it. And he goes, no, you need to drive it and make sure you want it. I said, no, I don't need to drive it. He goes, no, you need to drive it. I said, no, I don't. Trust me. I just want it on the trailer before you change your mind.
Where did you buy it out of?
Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's an original Fayetteville, Arkansas truck, and I'm the third owner.
Okay. Now, you changed something up in it.
I did. Underneath the hood, took the 350 out. 350 transmission, and I put a 2006 6.0 Vortec drive-by-wire with a 4L80. Came out of 2006 3/4 ton. So I figured if it worked in a 2006 3/4 ton, it can work in my 3/4 ton.
Oh, it's going to work, and you've done it very tastefully. I walked up, I see the LS conversion, I see the change, but really you've left everything else from the white wheels, the hubcaps, the grill, the bow tie. He's right, 77. You got the yellow insert, and just really classic truck.
Yeah, you know, when they did this back in 78, 77s, you know, they didn't do anything wrong. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I always kind of say on the podcast is we get to pick the best of both worlds because we get to look back and say what's still classy and what's still running. Yeah. And we get to look at these trucks. Now, you've got your dually here. How long have you had that?
Oh, gosh, 2 months. 2 months.
Oh, yeah. So
yeah.
You're buying these suckers up now. Is that a Texas truck?
No, it's a California truck. And it's rust-free. The only rust that it did have on it was in the front of the hood because it had a bug deflector, and all the leaves and debris collected and so rotted out. I replaced the hood with an OEM hood, matter of fact, close up here by Dallas, and matched the paint, and that's the only thing that's not original to the truck, but it is an original OEM hood.
So you have 3 trucks here. You have a 77, you have your 66. This is 78. Okay, 78. Do you have, are these one of these your daily, or are you just a truck fanatic and you have a daily and you just run these trucks?
I keep these trucks in a pole barn, believe it or not, and I drive them, I drive them periodically. You know, one dream as a kid when I was playing with match cars, true story, I would dream as being grown up or having a job and being able to walk out my house and going to work and be able to choose which match car I wanted to drive to work. And, you know, today I've got 3 to choose from. So, you know, I'm pleased and I'm stoked about that.
You're down with the sickness.
I'm down with
because people think, you have too many trucks, Ronnie. You're like, no, there is no such thing. And just because it's not, you could sell all these and you could have one cool, rad new car, but that wouldn't be as fun.
No, you know, in fact, Dino, Chevy Only, has a T-shirt in back that says, you can never have too many trucks. And you know what? I think he might be out of a large, so I'm gonna have to see if I can order me a large.
He's onto something. He is. He knows, and he's a perfect example. He's got a few himself. So, hey man, you got great class, you got great style, and it shows in your trucks, and we're glad. Now, where can we find you on Instagram?
3.on.the.tree. So 3 on the tree.
Yep. Now, is that a 3 on the tree?
That was the original 3 on the tree that I learned how to drive 3 on the tree. So, and it was a passing down from my father. So it's not going anywhere. It's not for sale.
And that's why you chose that?
Absolutely.
And it's Armando though, correct?
It's Amato.
Oh, Amato.
Amato. Yep.
Amato. All right, Amato. Now, where are you based out of here in Texas? Where at again?
Brenham, Texas.
Brenham.
Yep. Bluebell Ice Cream.
Bluebell Ice Cream. All right, Amato. We like your style, man. Thanks for taking time to listen to us. We appreciate you. Some sick rides here, buddy.
Man, appreciate it. Thanks a bunch.
Lucky Will Stout. Big Will. So, I heard you won like 3 things, dude.
Yeah. I won a trim kit, I won a cup, and I won a truck.
Yeah. You guy comes to a truck show. Was that all of one ticket, or did you buy a bunch of tickets?
No, I bought, it's for a good cause. So I bought, $40 worth of raffle tickets and 2 tickets, $100 a pop for, the 72 Chevy.
77.
Is it 77 or
yeah,
72?
it's a square, so it's 77. But he's a C10 guy. So you've got a
66 Chevy short wide.
Apache.
59 Apache, yeah.
Okay, and you're based out of where?
South of Dallas.
Okay, south of Dallas. So you come out here, you bring the family, you got people with you. Is that your wife?
My wife.
Okay, wife and daughter. Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
And you're doing it all for a good cause, and now you're taking home. You're like, shit, I gotta get another driver.
That's what I'm asking all my buddies that are here. Do they come with their wives? Somebody gonna drive this thing home for me or what?
I would think you still got 4 to 5 hours left in the day. So, I don't know if you feel like you used up all your luck, because
no, I'm gonna buy some lottery tickets later.
Dude, hey, go to the closest casino. You didn't expect to win. You did it for a good cause. What are you going to do? What are you thinking? I mean, I just hit you up. I mean, I understand.
The wife says we don't need another car at the house. She has to park outside. I got the garages full, and I'm gonna keep it for a little while. I think eventually I'll probably sell it. It's just not my year model.
Yeah.
But
what is your cup of tea?
I like the older. I like the 50s. I like the early 60s. I'm not a 70s, 80s guy.
How long have you had your 66?
About 4 years. It took me about 2 years to rebuild. and I've had my 59 about 20 years almost. Took me 15 years. It was a frame-up kind of deal, all custom. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited about winning. Everybody loves to win.
Well, something to drive around, and then, like you said, maybe you'll kind of move into the squares or the different era, and if not, you can always sell it. Now, you said your son was here. How old is your son?
He'll be 18 next week. Hey,
Come on.
Truck. That 66 was for him, and he wanted a truck to drive now. He didn't want to wait till it was done, so Papa got a new truck, and he got a Ford Ranger.
I think he just got himself a rad-ass freaking 77 square body.
Oh, he's going to be 18. He's going to have to buy it.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, he's smart to buy it now and take advantage of a smoking deal from Dad. But nonetheless, pretty cool that you did it, really not thinking you're going to win. But sure, maybe a chance. Now you've got a square body. You've got your 66. What stage is the 66 in?
It's complete. It's here at the show. We usually ride it around. We've been here the last 2 years. And last year we brought the 59. We were going to bring both trucks this year, and my wife wasn't home to drive one of them, so I just brought one.
Cool. Well, congratulations on winning. What's your best Instagram? What's the best place to get a hold of you, or just kind of watch these trucks?
Instagram is Stout Will, and that's about it.
Straight up, no doubt. So it's just Stout Will. All right, you guys can follow him. His wife's like, we got another truck. Do we have to claim that on taxes, babe? Holy crap, we just won. His beautiful daughter's here. They just had a soccer match. And I'm telling you guys, the 18-year-old probably left because he had to go to work because he just got himself a new square body. I can see this happening right now. Once that sticker package gets home, he's going to be like, Dad, this is rad ass.
Yeah.
All right.
He's going to be excited.
Mom, what do you think? I'm going to put you right on the spot. What do you think about winning this truck?
It's awesome. I'm happy for him. He's got good luck.
He does. He's got great luck. What do you think, sweetheart?
I like it.
It's cool, huh? Isn't it cool how they did those graphics and everything? That is pretty cool. Now, did you have a soccer game today? Did you win?
No.
No. But did you have fun?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, your dad won. So that's at the end of the day, I told him he needs to take you guys out to dinner and maybe go get a couple lottery tickets. Big Will, congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, man. All right, hey, you guys have a good week.
End of the day, I'll tell you what, man, this is one of those trucks that's it's in my mind all the time because I love what he's doing when I watch his build and his build thread on Instagram. But today, it's kind of been in my eyesight a lot because it's on vendor row here. It's in the GSI booth. And the brown bagger, Jason, Soup C10, out of Arizona. You killed it, man, and I mad respect because you brought it out. What has the response been to people that see your truck?
Man, it's overwhelming. It's a trip. I never expected that so many people would come and ask me questions about it, want to take pictures with me, ask me a million questions. It's really cool.
Well, even when I walked up, you obviously, and I think this is what's really cool about the C10 community is you had like 3 guys that you were changing numbers and you got buddies now, and it's the common thing. So they see you, you see them, and now you're talking trucks, and it's not just here, it's not just your truck, it's a potential friendship that could last for a long time.
Yeah, and it's all over the world too. I got friends in Kuwait, Japan, a whole bunch of states in America and Canada. It's really cool.
So this has got like a Dell style. You're running Dells. You're running the smoothies. First of all, what inspired you to choose the yellow?
Originally, still, we won a 1977 theme. It's the only year with the yellow stripe. But mainly, other than matching the brown real good and popping it, I wanted it to be different. I didn't want to see myself in the rearview mirror. I didn't want to see him looking like something else. So I wanted a one-off. Never see another truck like this again look. Whether they hate it or love it, as long as it's breaking necks, it makes my day.
Well, and you did it. The brown bagger, he nailed it. 77 Silverado, and you couldn't have done a better job on the wheel setup. You got full GSI. You got a big block that's putting out. That ain't your grandma's big block.
Oh, it's probably putting out about 500 horse, a little over 600 foot-pounds of torque. Enough to break a few transmissions already, and we don't even have 50 miles on it.
Yeah, so he broke down, and him and Scott had to do some walking yesterday, but that's all right. That's a part of the story. How did you find the truck? How long have you had the truck, and what's the process?
I found the truck at the end of last year when I saw my two-wheel drive Blazer. Found it on eBay out of Reno, Nevada, original California truck, Survivor, original paint. Flew out there and drove it back.
Drove back from Reno, and did you envision it looking like this from the time you bought it, even before the build?
No, it kind of spiraled out of control to where it is right now. Originally, it was going to be something simple and plain, and then as we start taking things apart, it just kind of became what it is now, you know. Everything's always got to be on the edge of out of control with me, so we had to kind of touch on everything.
Well, and like you said, you didn't want to be in the rearview mirror.
No, I like to be out in the front.
You're not in the rearview mirror anymore, man. I mean, Soup C10, now, obviously I can figure out why it's the brown bagger. It's brown, it's on bags, but what's Soup C10?
My nickname back in the 80s, growing up in San Fernando Valley, they started calling me Soup because I drove a 66 Super Sport 396 Chevelle. And actually, real quick, it started with going to getting a haircut from an old man, and he was pretty cranky and told me, don't move, don't you keep your head right here. And when I was done, he said, you're super. And we went outside to have a smoke, and when I was leaning against the quarter panel on my 66 Chevelle, he said, you really are super. And then my buddy Carlos said, Soup. And it's just that, and always just souping up car. It can't never be stock, you know, and it just kind of went from there.
So you got, you know, Cali runs deep in your veins. You're bringing some Cali style. You're in Arizona. You're showing your truck off in Texas. You're representing, and mad respect. I know people have been talking to you all day about this truck.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a trip. It's really cool. It's almost overwhelming, but I really enjoy the heck out of it. You know, I was over here with GSI, but I start wandering around to see some of my friends, and you can't even get over there because of people coming up. Can I take a picture with you and tell me about your truck? And you know, all these friends I'm making on Instagram. It's really that's the real jewel out of the whole thing is the people, the C10 community, you know, all the people that I wouldn't have met if I didn't sell that badass two-wheel drive Blazer and build the brown bagger. So I'd do it over again.
And we got to talk about it because you and I have had some discussions in perspective to, you know, just quick messaging and back and forth. You've been on a lot of journeys in your life, and the brown bagger is by far not the greatest journey you've been on.
No, it's been pretty tough. Back in 2002, a 3rd mile oval asphalt out at Roseman at Willow Springs. Crashed a Cougar into the wall head on at about 50 and broke my back in 2 spots and ruptured some discs, and that ended up keeping me on pain meds for about 15 years. So, you know, couldn't drink, quit drinking, quit smoking cigarettes, decided it was time to get off the opiates, and I needed a project. So 2 days before I quit the pills, I flew to Reno and bought this, brought it back, and just started tearing it apart. And that's what got me through the extreme withdrawals. And I'm almost 8 months clean and feeling 1,000% better. And, you know, other than meeting everybody in the community and making all these new friends, really my main goal is to see if I can inspire somebody to save their lives, save some other lives. Because really we're in an epidemic. And
I mean, to inspire, you've inspired just when I've talked to you about it. And I've told you what I do for a living and I'm around. But to stay clean, and I just again, because of my job and I have family members, I know it's a struggle all the time. And this truck and the community, it's rad ass, it's kick ass, it's cool as fuck that you are able to be involved and stay clean.
Yes, sir. It's a struggle, and there's still days that are hard, but you know, if you get your mind right and you really want to quit and stay clean, you can do it. And it helps having a project and loved ones. And I'm telling you, you guys are all like the family, you know, like an extended family. You know, we're out in Arizona by ourselves. We got family in California, but, you know, just being able to grab that phone and have access to you guys, it's like you guys are right there.
It's cool, man. So you're getting it home. You're going to get this tranny figured out. Yeah. He's thinking he's going back to the 400, which I got a 400 in Yellowstone. They're amazing. So little 400 and then back ready for the get down?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Got a couple things to do other than the transmission, but we'll be there. If there's enough time, I might put a bigger cam in it and do a little head work, but that's probably be for next year out here at the park.
Yeah, he's wanting to soup it up, push the limits, just like he said. You nailed it, bro, and good for you because it's a cool truck. It's really more than a cool truck. It's such a 70s truck, and you brought your style into this truck. Your dumps are just one of the coolest things, the way you did it. People love that. I've seen them comment. I love it. Your hoops are beautiful. You know, you teamed up with Dell, but putting that yellow on there the way you did, and
I had the vision. The wife was a little nervous, and a lot of my friends were like, "Man, what are you doing?" But I said, "Just wait and see. You'll see. It'll work."
Well, it's a home run.
You know, let me say that I got a lot of help from this from Toby and Ben and the guys at Performance Auto, and none of this would be possible if it wasn't for all my homies back in California in the 80s in the mini truck scene. You know, that's what really inspired me, and just really glad to be here and get it done.
Are you able to reach out to them at all? Do you still stay in touch and they show them this truck and they're like, are you shitting me?
Yeah, through Instagram. Some of the guys I hadn't talked to in 25 years are hitting me up like, man, so they're all going to try and get to the get down too. You guys will see some of them. My one buddy going to show up with his 58 Yeoman wagon, big block 4-speed, just come out and hang out. So that and Gregory over there, he actually, Gregory's the one that talked me into buying this truck and starting an Instagram account. And he was like, man, yeah, go ahead and buy that truck. It's worth it. And I was a little bit skeptical. And my wife, Kristen, man, she's my best friend. If it wasn't for her and it wasn't for Greg and all my buddies, the truck wouldn't even be here. But, the truck basically saved my life, and now I'd like to see it inspire some other lives. And maybe it can start spiraling into a good thing.
Yeah, it is. That's good. We love it, and anything we can do to help, we look forward to seeing you in November, if not sooner.
Yeah, man, for sure. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Be home safe.
All right, we will.
All right. C10 Nation. I'll tell you what, I was thinking I would have time to sit down with Terry at the end of C10's in the Park and or at the end of C10's in the Park after dark downtown Waxahachie. Well, then I ended up going back to Terry's house, and I just didn't feel like it, and I don't think he did, and we were just having fun and kind of just, coming down from what was a really good show and a good weekend. So before I kick this out, I reached out to Terry, the C10 mayor, and I said, hey, man, I want to get your input. I want to get your thought. And so we've got Terry on the line, Mr. C10's in the Park, along with all his people, Square Body USA. And we're so stoked to have you, Mr. Terry Hill. What do you think, man? Second/third? I mean, let's talk about that. I know you had the first show, so you're calling this your third show. But what was the response from the first show all the way to the third show?
Wow, Ronnie, man! First of all, thank you for being a part of it, and man, we can't say enough about you and what you do in this community. Really, seriously. So, man, thank you, and so glad that you came out this year to see kind of what we were really, the vision that we saw for this thing was just, I just knew it was going to grow. I just did. And again, but that's all because of, people like yourself and, helping us out, getting the word out and blowing this thing up. But yeah, from the first event, we had, 65 friends out there, and brought their trucks out and we hung out and, things just started going through our minds and stuff. I said, listen, we can make this thing big if we want to make it big. If we just have to get that sponsor, get that one or big sponsor there that says, man, I'm gonna take a shot on these guys. Give these guys a chance. So, and that's kind of what we did. Yeah. So.
Well, and so you go from the first year. I think you probably had your sponsor the second year, and then now you took it to the third year.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, we sure did. So, I mean, we reached out, and I tell you, I kind of took the lead on that. I grabbed got an email and just said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to Brothers. They kind of have the show. They have the show out there in California that's real big, and just reached out to Jim and Steve and nobody. What the crazy thing about this whole thing is nobody that big sponsors a show that only has 65 trucks in it. First off, they don't believe in you. Second of all, there was kind of a really cool relationship between Waxahachie and those guys that I had no foreknowledge of knowing about it or anything until, Jim responded back and said they knew Waxahachie very well, which is really crazy, the relationship there. So that really was it. And talking to him this year when I was out there at their show, and he said had it not been for that relationship with, Waxahachie, they would have never done it. So really cool, connection there, if you will. So
yeah, and explain to the listener is that what happened was like 20 years ago, Brothers, there was a smaller truck parts dealer in Waxahachie, and I don't know if he reached out to Brothers or however, but they ended up buying this guy, and even to this day, Jim said that he is still alive, still in Waxahachie, and they've still touched base, and they said, hey, remember us? We bought your truck, parts store, and now we're back here sponsoring a show that's in your backyard.
Isn't that crazy? And again, that was a complete shot in the dark. It just was. It's kind of fate, if you will, for us. We're very, very thankful to those guys, man. It's just, just a crazy connection there. It was, and hats off to those guys. They're part of the reason that our event is so successful, just in its, if you will, third year or 2.5 years, whatever you're going to call it. But so we're stoked to have those guys, and man, just look forward to a big future with those guys.
So I mean, I know there's other trucks that are in that aren't C10s. You've got some 50s Apaches, Tri-5s, Task Force era, stuff like that. I didn't really see any OBS trucks, but at the same time, 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I'm thinking that for C10s, there is no bigger show that I know of when it comes to the numbers. Do you? And I'm totally okay with being wrong. I'm just saying that we don't have a count with LST. We don't know, well, hey, there's this many 60 to 87 Chevy trucks, but we know this is 94% C10s, and we know you surpassed Brothers, and Brothers is 47 through 87. Are you guys kind of open to that as well? So although you're calling it C10s in the park, is it kind of open from 47 to 87, or have you?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
No, very much so. I mean, we want to kind of include those guys too, even though they're not in the C10 area, but we want to include those guys. They don't, I mean, sometimes they don't have their own little, their shows for themselves. So we wanted to include them, and just stoked to have them. I think El Camino actually snuck in somehow in the crowd, which is kind of crazy. I never saw the same, but anyways, for the most part, it was, I think you probably saw, man, Texas has a ton of square bodies. So, I think that's what really dominated our crowd, and we got to be careful. Our show is not a show; it's a gathering. So we're just like Jim and Steve show out there at Brothers. There's judging and stuff like that going on. There's no judging at our event. We just want to get the guys together, hang out, have a great time, and you see some SEMA quality trucks in our show too. There's some quality rides out there, and I think that's what's cool is, man. You're all saying, Ronnie, the trucks are cool, but the people are cooler, that kind of mentality. And I think really had it not been for all the relationships that all of us have, and that goes from the guys that are, that work with me and that are with me and that help organize this to the relationships you have with all of us and, other people have, this thing's not successful without that. And I think that's what's cool is, man, when everybody got together, it's like we all know each other. It's like, hey, man, this guy, all the connections that you make, and that's what's so cool about the event. I mean, and it's we're not concerned so much about the numbers, even though we like to hear that. We just like to have, what the numbers I like to hear is that there was no arrests made, there was no citations written, because it's a good crowd, they're good people. So that's really what we like to hear.
Total family atmosphere, tons of kids running around. I actually have an interview with little Libby, who is cute as can be, 9 years old. So that'll precede this. This will be the final one for the show. For total family atmosphere, a lot of fun. And the bottom line is just to kind of express to the C10 Nation and or the truck community within is 750, give or take, generic. There's talk of even 800 because some people didn't get the little stickers or so on. But the bottom line is this thing started off under 100. Last year you guys had was it 350 or 400?
Yeah, it was just a tick over 400. Right?
Okay, 400, and now you're 750. So it's going to continue to grow. You mentioned your people and the assistants and or the staff or the volunteers, however, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're a whole team, a conglomerate that's put this together. You're backed by Brothers, and I'll just tell you, my hat's off to all of them. I know, Pedro was out there, Danny, Ruben, obviously. Your brother David is definitely one of those shadows wherever you are and or something's going on. He's in the mix. He doesn't say a lot. He doesn't need to be, a lot of notoriety. But at the same time, Hector was out there. You have a really good crew. I remember when we got there, before sun up to set up, Denny had his radio and he's running around and getting it all set up. And that's a hectic time. And I think it's one of those things for a lot of people. I've never ran a show of that size or caliber, but I've done things that, they're stressful, and you guys are doing a lot of stressful things in that golden hour before and after to make sure everything kind of kicks off without a tick. And even Becky, your wife, she was helping. So you guys and your staff and your helpers I say staff, but your team, if you will, is really, you guys did a great job.
Yeah. Listen, we couldn't do it without those guys. And also the, like I said, the partners that are involved with this, as you mentioned and stuff, this would not be possible. And then also, the volunteers that we had helping us park. And the best way to describe the whole scene Saturday morning and throughout the day was just organized chaos. I mean, we had a plan. We knew what we were doing, everything to the people. Man, have fun. Let's have fun with this. Listen, I don't want this to be a job to where it's no fun. I want to be able to talk to the people, move around, have a great time. We'll talk a little bit about the after party, but that's the time to relax. But during the day, we're just going to be moving and seeing how everybody's doing and checking out a few rides here and there. It's just the way it is. But again, I'll kudos to those guys that are with us. Hector, Denny, and Pedro and Ruben. And I do want to thank my brother. He was a big part of it, and he's behind the scenes kind of guy. And again, the volunteers, Becky, Denny's wife, had friends in the t-shirt booth. I think my kids were all up there helping some. So it's a big, like I say, organized chaos, man. So.
My hat's off to you guys. You did a great job, and continued success. So for the C10 Nation, the community, Texas kicked ass just like we know that they would. Terry, the C10 mayor, I've been calling him that. He's been telling me don't call me that, so I've been giving him a little bit of a ribbing. But let me just express to you this: the show was absolute hit and a ton of fun. The weather was pretty good, a little hot, but at the same time, because of the park and the description of the park, you've got a ton of shade. You got some really cool 100-year park, shade, trees. So the atmosphere is great, family atmosphere. But that's kind of Party 1.0, and then you go to Party 2.0, which kicks off a few hours later. You go back to your hotel, you go back to your house, whatever it may be, your buddy's house, you have a cocktail, you get cleaned up. And then what a blast we had after, where you guys had selected about 50 trucks to park downtown Waxahachie, and you guys had a concert, and Jason Cassidy came out, a C10 guy himself, and put on a killer show. And for the listener, you think, okay, Jason Cassidy, you're going to go ahead and you're going to pull him up on YouTube. I highly recommend that you do. The guy's voice was kick-ass. He puts on a great show. He's rocking it out. He's a country singer, but you know how country singers, man, they can, they grew up with some Van Halen, Metallica, some of that old school rock. So every now and then you get a little cover song and you're like, man, this is a good time. And that whole atmosphere for C10's in the parking lot of Waxahachie, out in the street, set up, the food, the concert, that was really rad too.
Thanks, Ronnie. And I'll tell you how that kind of came about. Really, the last 2 years, we had a little gathering the morning of the event, and everybody would meet downtown, and then we would have a time and we would cruise down to the park. Well, last year, the scene had grown so big, the event had grown so big that people were afraid they weren't getting a parking spot. So they didn't stay around long. They started their trucks off, and once one engine started, everybody left. So just kind of threw around some ideas of what we wanted to do and approached the city, and man, really hats off to Waxahachie. This is my hometown, but I got to tell you, they have supported this event 110%. Just give me what I want, and that's what I like. And they're don't get me wrong, they're appreciative of that. There's some benefits for Waxahachie too. But I've had so many people come back and tell me that they love this place and want to come back. So that's cool. But yeah, the party, Cassie just hit it out of the park. I had no clue. I listened to him on Spotify, and I like him. I'm not a country guy. You know me. I'm an 80s hair band kind of guy. But he did awesome and blew us away with his performance. And just wanted a little twist to our event that, have something different that nobody else is doing, stay cutting edge, and do it something completely different than anybody else, and that's what we wanted. And Waxahachie gives you a little setting that, and some of the pictures that have been taken, some of the drone shots that have been shot. I mean, you can't find those in, big cities and stuff. They're all small town kind of shots, and it's really neat to be able to do that. And that's kind of what our vision was just have something different, do something out of the box, different. And since we don't do awards, we teamed up with GSI, who sponsored that downtown event, and just wanted to pick out, I wouldn't say the top 50. They were just 50 of our favorite trucks out there, gave guys the invitation, go pick out your favorite truck, and let's give these guys a chance to show off their rides, downtown. So, yeah, very, 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 very fun. I had a lot of fun at that event.
Well, and hopefully the listener saw some of the pictures. I will be posting some up in lieu of the show, but you definitely get a throwback. You get the downtown Waxahachie. You've got the old buildings. You feel like you're 40s, 50s, 60s, and the structures and the cars kind of parked, or the trucks at an angle. And for the most part, we took over the smaller downtown area. There was no problems. All in all, it was a huge success. And then really one of my notes is just to make sure is, I like to get his name in, every so often, but you had Uncle Juan come all the way out from California. John Oro, the John father, he came out, he christened the show, he blessed the show. And once that happens, like it's the real deal.
Yeah. Oh, man. That dude, I mean, Ronnie, I'll tag you guys sometimes with C10 Gold. He is it, man. He is just as genuine. Had him over at the house Friday night, and just came over, had a little visit, had a few drinks, and man, just that dude's a quality guy. Of course, I spent a lot of time with him at Brothers Show and stuff like that, in the C10 Club out there, and man, I'm telling you, that guy's as genuine as all can be. It just blows me away. And I kind of texted him after the event, made sure he made it home and everything, and dude just as genuine, texting back, said, dude, had a blast. Thank you for inviting me. Man, definitely wanted to come back. So, man, that guy's just can't wait to see him for LST. Hopefully he gets to bring the prom queen out and let everybody in Texas see that truck. So, yeah, I was stoked to have him for sure.
My question is, if you had him out Friday night, did you play rock and roll trivia with him, or was that just something we did on Sunday night?
No, we didn't. We just had several other guys out here, man, and just kind of, stood around, talked, and had snacks and stuff like that before we went over to the little cruise in. I also like to shout out to Jim and Lisa for coming out. Jim Flanders, came all the way from California to see what this event was about. And, it was really nice to hang out with them, and you and Autumn and, Mike Loesch and his wife and stuff like that. It was really cool to hang out, and really had a blast with you guys, man. Really did.
Well, and it was a lot of fun. We had the same, it was fun to kind of, like I said, the family atmosphere where some of the guys brought their significant others. And again, it wasn't just brothers sponsoring your show primarily. It was, Jim brought, himself and his wife out. And that just shows you there's a level of commitment behind what you have going on. And, my hat's off to you and the team, the Waxahachie team. You guys did a great job. We're looking forward already to 2018. And it's going to get bigger and better. The word's going to get out, and we're going to continue to kick ass. And you know that the C10 Nation, C10 Talk will help you however we can, and we're looking forward to it, brother.
Man, thank you so much, Ronnie. Man, I'd like to say, couldn't do it without you, bud. Appreciate you.
Okay, man. This will hopefully drop tomorrow, so can't wait, and keep us posted on anything else from there. And the word is that Terry is thinking about coming out to Phoenix and then rolling in Yellowstone to LST 2018. So although John Oro was the DJ for 2017 and we got schooled on a lot of old school rap, we're thinking that 80 to 85 Big Hair is going to be the theme for 2018, eastbound and down to the throwdown. So our fingers are crossed. We're hoping you make it out, brother.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna nail it down, dude. I'm bringing wigs too, some hairband wigs and everything. We're gonna trip out. So, Looking forward to it, bro.
Well, you saw my haircut. I could use a wig, so it'll be good. I'll gladly take it. So, okay, brother. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Have a great week. Thanks again for everything that you did last week. We had a blast, and as always, man, keep doing what you're doing.
All right, thank you, Ron. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
I blame this cussing on my daddy, good looks on my mama, but as for my honky-tonk ways, I blame it on Waylon, all them other outlaws, blame it on the backbeat, blame it on them sad songs. If I got a don't care attitude and long hair, and mean every damn word I'm singing, I blame it on Waylon. I blame my rambling ways on his old freight train I was born on. These holes in these soles of these boots on every girl I told so long. I blame my good luck on the good Lord and bad luck on the devil, but this lonesome in my soul, you know I blame it on Waylon, all them other outlaws, blame it on the backbeat, blame it on them sad songs. If I got a don't care attitude and long hair, and mean every damn word I'm singing, I blame it on Waylon, yeah. Oh, from this old guitar I'm playing to these smoky bar dues I'm paying, you know I blame it on Waylon, all them other outlaws, blame it on the backbeat, blame it on them sad songs. If I got it